Hello? Hello, hello. Welcome to... I got you. Did I get you? Did I... Did I get you? Alrighty, let's pick up some music, why don't we? Alrighty. Oh. Oh God! I got thrown! You have two whiny bitches. Yay. Sorry, me and Cecil both looked up at Wee One expecting smooches and love. Us both meowing at him, begging for Kimses. Rainbow Tiger notebook. Yeah, grab your Lisa Frank notebooks and your fucking pens with the fuzzy feather at the end. Whatever the fucking shit's called. You know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, you're grabbing the 4 pens in 1 colors? 8? There's 8 colors? Oh, fuck. Leon. So Leon's ready. Did he at least kiss you guys? Yeah. He gave us kisses. Mr. Streamer Man, how do I draw Monstercado? What is Monstercado? What is Monstercado? Tell me. Oh, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh thing, Leon said. Got it. But yeah, you, yes you, even you can learn how to draw. And I am here to at least give you my 2 cents on what I would have liked to have known, like, 10 years ago. When I was still a baby, struggling in, God, the far-off year of 2015. Fuck, it doesn't feel like that's 10 years ago. Shit! I'm old! Can I draw anime bitches? Yes, you too can draw anime bitches! Why get bitches when you can draw your own? Mr. Dreamer, how do I draw the giant monster dingle? It definitely was. But yeah, welcome in everybody. I was gonna do this yesterday, but my upload speed was fucking abysmal. It was like a constant 1, and then it dropped to nothing, and then it would go back to 1. I'm like, thanks, I need a 3.7 in order to stream properly. I know Medic said I needed a 1.5, but... Yeah. Also, I'm at 15 frames a second right now, so I'm gonna look silly. I have not bumped it back up, and my bitrate is really low too. But I'm gonna keep it how it is. We're gonna stay low fidelity for the time being until everything in California is less bullshit. Because I don't want to risk breaking everything. It looks okay? Good. As long as it looks okay, I'm fine with that. But yeah, we're gonna mosey on over to the art tab here, to the art pad, and we're gonna do some stuff. You are going to not see art. You're gonna see my beautiful face. Look at me. No. This is my Eldritch Nova stuff that I was working on. I was writing out some stuff in a Google Doc. Off stream, pre-stream. Oh, Six Skull, thank you for that pet. Also, now that I'm sat up a little more, let me fix myself. There we go. You will not see art, but Desmond, you're a work of art. Ah, thank you. Technically, I'm a moving piece of art. Does anyone have any recommendations for pencil type? I usually use a 2H drawing pencil. Not really. I do not have any tool suggestions for you guys. And when I'm working with the idea for traditional, I will help there. What is there to save? You know what? You're so right. I need to save this. You're so right. Also, I can show you guys this real quick because I was working on it. Where is it? Right here. Yeah, this is the, species page that I was working on. And this is the kind of silly, dumb shit humor that I want to do for the stuff. I have the introduction page right here. Thank you for the sippy blippy. Let me get a little... Also, med check for those of you who haven't had it. You haven't eaten yet, so You don't need your pills yet. Are you making something? Okay, good. Okay, so I'll tell Weewan med check soon. Paps Battler face. Please, Sev. Okay, Sev. Let me get a sip real quick. Oh, I love when the ice gets in the way. Ooh, there we go. But yeah, I've already taken my medication, but for those of you who have not, please do so. Or your vitamins, you know, who's counting. Alright. So I wanna show you guys this before we get started, because I was having fun writing it. I want it to be like cheeky. It's gonna be like dark humor, basically. Because it's the only thing I can do. So, the intro for the fucking playbook is, "Welcome to the data center for the Syrian Atlas Company. If you're reading this, then you are a new recruit, or you're interested in joining our wonderful company, and the rumors haven't deterred you. We're happy to accept you. Here at Atlas, we're family. Because God knows, every company that says that has malicious fucking intent." Yes, darling? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I can't. I'm not getting the bee boop boops because of this. Yeah, no, you're good. I will do that. Oh, can you? Then you can. If you have the power to, then go for it. Oh. Weewan is trying to figure something out. But yeah, I want this, like, funny, stupid shit happening. If anyone has any Not Safe for Work tutorials, please DM me, I need the help. I feel that on a fucking fundamental level. Because, unironically, it's very hard to find those kind of tutorials. I could probably do something separate for that kind of stuff later on Picardo, but for now, I'm not gonna worry about that. Can't. Okay, then I'll worry about it afterward. It's so hard. It is hard. It's hard to find actual, like, useful tutorials on anatomy and poses and shit. I open Krita and follow. Excellent! Yeah, and this tutorial, these little tutorials I'm gonna do are for digital and traditional. Granted, because I'm drawing digital, there are going to be a few issues here and there for traditional, just because of the medium difference. I started off drawing traditionally, though, so there is no fucking, like, issue with doing that. Please start with a pencil and paper if you don't have, like, a little tablet laying around. Like, not everyone has, you know, even, like, a tiny little bamboo tablet. I don't know how commonly people buy those. I need a highlight stick and couldn't find it, so I had to wing it. I'm going to actually give you a sound piece of advice for getting started with that Radiant. Go to websites that have toys if you want to draw something that looks non-human. And practice by looking at that. Figure out the, like, common shape of what a regular set of genitalia looks like, and then follow what they do to kind of, you know, add, like, they add, like, bulbs or, like, what are they called? Knots, you know, extra veins, weird, little, I don't know the terms, but you understand. That could probably give you a good starting point until I can do something on Picardo. But, no, it's really hard to find Not Safe for Work material, for drawing purposes. I didn't have a problem with shape, it was just highlighting. Usually, depends on the texture. It depends on the texture and I guess whether or not it has something on it, I guess is the best way to describe it. Like, if it's wetter, it has obviously a lot more shine to it. If it's not, you don't have to worry about that. Ah, yes, stick texture. I meant, like, is it dry or wet or whatever? It's hard to explain on Twitch. We can go over that later. Because I also need the fucking practice. I'm going to be making those kind of webcomics anyway. I need to learn. Ugh, and also they're monsters, so they're gonna have crazy shit, so. Flies in and being a bratty boy today. Hi. Hi, Docky. Welcome in. We're about to start working on our tutorials. So, yeah, with that out of the way, if you would like to follow along, whether traditionally or digitally, please do. Otherwise, this will be a VOD on my YouTube for you to follow later if you can't readily get a hold of something right here. So, more Monster Porn. Yes. I want to add it. I want to make it. Granted, the spicy bits will probably be on a Patreon with like a small paywall, because I don't want people who shouldn't be looking at that shit. And normally, if you have a card, it means you're of age, so. It'll probably only be like $1 or $2, nothing crazy. Just enough to be like, here, I offer you, like, what's the word? I give money for thanks, and also me want to see naked. Basically. Hi, Jeannie. Welcome in. Okay. I have wiped down my tablet. Let me do it a little more with my cloth, and then we can get started here. Because it's kind of gunky. Alrighty. Let me do the spray, actually. I like to clean it with glasses cleaner spray, my tablet, because it makes it nice and smooth. I need to get a new screen protector at some point. I actually have the perfect ref for it. Fucking fair. Alrighty. So, like I said, traditional, it might be a little different for you, because you can't click the undo button, and, I'll try to give advice to both while I work. So, let's get some introductions out of the way here. That pin is huge. Let's not do it with that one. Oh my god, my handwriting is terrible. Listen. Also, I did this a couple of years ago, but I want to redo it and give better advice now that I have grown as an artist. So, let's get introductions out of the way for what I think we need to know. They actually make wipes specifically for tablets and laptop screens, computer screens, probably, but I didn't use them. Oof. I've just been using my glasses cleaner, which is fine, it works the same way. Lip, hold on. Okay, I think I'm good. Alright, first things in order. Something that I would have loved to have known when I was a little... I wasn't a baby, but I was a baby artist. How old was I in 2015? Because, I've been drawing all my life, ever since I could pick up a pencil, but... to quote a very famous artist, I didn't come out the pussy drawing Mozart. Aaron Egoraptor Hansen, 2000, whenever he said that. I am not stinky. But, yeah, I drew the moment I could pick up a pen or pencil, but it was just stick figures, just like everyone else. I didn't know what I was doing. I was a baby. I was like 3. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But then I started, not really tracing, but like eyeball tracing my, what's it called? My coloring books. I had X-Men coloring books when I was like 5 or 6. Think of the peddlers. So I started like staring at them and replicating what I was looking at. Hi, Sun and Moon, welcome in. You cannot escape the bull. Why. But as much as I was doing all that, and I've been drawing since, like I said, the baby, it never really was something that I was actively studying or trying to get better at. Well, obviously I was, but not in any professional capacity until about 2015. Up until then, I was mostly doing traditional. I was drawing in notebooks and on computer paper. I had like a full stack of computer paper that was like stuffed in a really big white binder that I always carried with me. I still have that white binder, by the way. It's up on my shelf. That fucker has never left me since I was in like 7th or 8th grade. I think it started in 2006, 2007 that I really started adding pictures to it. I have it. It's really fucking cool. I could actually show you guys a few of the pictures if I could get my Toshiba to turn on. And because I have it saved digitally as well, because I scanned a lot of them. But I do have a couple of pictures on my Fur Affinity that I could show off. Yes, please. Yeah, I would love to share. Here, let's see if I can get my Toshiba to work. If I can, I will show you guys a few samples of how I was drawing in high school, and we can go over the evolution of art. Because this, I didn't just like I said, I didn't come out the gate drawing the way I do. Thank you for the pet, Gil. And that's the first bit of introduction and advice I'm going to give you guys. Don't expect to come out immediately having it look good. That's just not how skills work. And yes, it is a skill, it is not a talent, as people like to fucking scream about to the heavens at artists. Oh my god, you're so talented. No, I worked. I'm gonna stop being horny so YouTube doesn't strike you down. Oh, thank you. Come on. My Toshiba doesn't want to work. It's because it's a blue USB and I'm trying to plug it into the front, but sometimes I can trick it into working, but it's not doing it this time. It doesn't love me enough. Oh. Oh no, Cecil. Oh. Oh, you're stinky. Cecil made us stinky. He's a friggin' stinky cat. Alright. But yeah, where's my pen? There it is. First bit of advice. Don't expect it to go right away. What the fuck? I'm writing. I'm also doing a very careful job to make sure my handwriting isn't shit. Because my handwriting is usually shit. I have to be conscious about it. Okay, so yeah, my my Toshiba is not plugging in. Feet! Stop looking at my feet, medic! I know you like them, but... it's like 85 to 95% skill. Rest is talent, I find. Talent part helps skill building faster. Yeah, I could see that. The skill is learning how to draw good. The talent is wanting to draw, period. My kitties have been making stinkies too. I think I have to add more litter. I might need to add more litter. Cecil's stinky. Okay, so yeah, the Toshiba's not gonna work right now. When I can get it to work later, I'll save old art and I'll show it to you. But I do have 2 samples I can show you now. Let me go grab those. Should be in my old Fur Affinity. Because I wanted to do some, like, before and after for characters. And this is how I was drawing in, like, 2007. So, you know. That would be 18 years ago. This is how I was drawing. I wouldn't say talent, I'd say dedication and motivation is to drive the desire for drawing, or anything really. So this is, as you can see, there is a huge difference in art style, because it's a different medium, it looks different. I've learned a lot more. You can see the nose isn't sticking out as much. I figured out where the bridge goes a bit better. The ear, I learned how to actually draw one instead of just making like a fucking E shape. You can see that I had some sort of understanding of like what goes where, like the neck vein here, or not really the neck vein. That's the muscle that helps your neck twist. But I didn't know why I was putting it there. It's not bad, but it certainly 15-year-old trying to draw semi-realistic anime. I did another one here as well. This is from the same picture. Also the eye. Oh yeah, no, the eyes look a lot better as well. I was trying to give him like upturned eyes and it looked really bad. Also his hairline, like, sis, what is that? His eyebrows are also really funky, so you can see there's... I had a basic grasp of stuff, but it wasn't... Oh, I'm gonna try the spicy nuggets! Oh shit, spicy nugs. But yeah, this is another instance. These are from the same picture, so it's from the same day. And these are their names. I've since reinvigorated these characters because they were two of my OCs in high school. And as you can see, same deal. His mouth is really small and really low. I wasn't sure what I was doing with the ear here either. The hair would probably be covering that if I'm being honest. But yeah, that's the before and after, about 15 years apart, because I drew this a couple of years ago. I drew this before I started streaming, so that's what my art style looked before I streamed. So yeah, and when I say don't expect it to be good right away, I don't mean, like, objectively. I mean personally. So we all have it built in our heads about how we want our art to look. And if it doesn't meet those expectations, that usually makes people fucking, like, sad about it. I was gonna give you snacky time, but it's not available. No, I don't have. So you can have some spicy nuggies. I don't want spicy nuggies. That's his breakfast. Are they good, by the way? Do they taste like Wendy's? Oh, that makes sense. Okay, that's pretty dope. Also, I do have candy, so if I want a snack, I will just grab one of those. And no, I don't want spicy nugs. You're very sweet, though. Thank you. We one offered to share, and I said no thank yous. Oh, I did need more water, though. But yeah, don't expect it to be objectively good right away. You can make a stick figure look good, or you can enjoy a stick figure art style. You guys are so cute. No! We're just dorks. Like, for instance, I'm sure you guys have seen me play, what was the Cthulhu version of West of Loathing? I'm sure you know what West of Loathing is. That entire game's art style is based off of stick figures, and it's fucking great. So, if your style or your goal is to make a stick figure game, boom, you did it. It's easy. Stick figures are pretty easy to draw. You just make a little head, you give him his spine, you give him his frickin' legs, and you give him his little arms. It's easy. You want to give him a little face? Oh, hell yeah. Well, look, he's kind of concerned now. What are you doing with that knife? Put it down. Dude, come on. What are you gonna do to him? Stop it. Anyway. So you can see what I mean when I say don't expect it to be good, as in don't expect it to look how you want it to. So if you have a very specific art style in mind, you're going to be very disappointed the first few times you draw, because it's not going to come out that way. And that's just because you have to learn how the art style itself functions and what mechanically it has in order for it to be that art style. So that's why we're going to be talking hand in hand about basics and an art style, because everything is a fucking art style. Also, what the fuck? Why'd you throw me? Let me down! I remember going to a site dedicated to stick figure characters. They were usually silly and violent games or animations, but they were cool. Yeah, usually games and anime, like the Stickmin series. I love the Henry, I think it's called Henry Stickmin. That's also kind of a stick figure art style. I think that was made by the same people who made Among Us, actually. Was that the website where it had the video and the end of the world video or whatever? Maybe? I have no clue. But I do know those used to be like a bunch of flash animations. People always did that. There was also, I think, Stick Figure versus Mouse or something like that. It was just a bunch of animations people made. and it looked good. It looked nice, but that was their goal, to just draw something quick, simple, gritty, and easy to do, and easy to animate with stick figures. However, if your goal is not stick figures, you're going to quickly find yourself a little frustrated if you don't have the patience.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Yeah, animation versus animator. That one was... I like that. Also, Penguina, do you want to fight? Is that what this is? Penguina said, Desmond, my 6 day later realizing you missed your anniversary friend. How are you? Yeah, fun fact. It was my streaming anniversary 6 days ago. I've been streaming for over 3 years now. I have been dealing with fires. I did not have the brain to be like, oh hey guys, it's my anniversary. So next month, whenever I hit my affiliate anniversary, we'll do some stuff. But my internet is not stable enough right now. I mean, right today it is, but I don't know what it's gonna do tomorrow. Boxu, thank you for the pet, and Zippy. Yeah, there it is, Penguina. I forgot Penguina followed me literally 2 hours after I started streaming. That's how new you are. Or that's how old you are. Damn it! Oh, yummy water. Oh, hi, Sweet Pea. Cecil is up here looking up at Wee One. Alright. So, next point. Now, this is something I like to tell you as well as myself if I were still a baby. There we go. So, what do I mean by figure out what your art goal is? This is half of the fucking motivation sometimes. Why are you drawing this? Doesn't admit it, I knew. No! How do you find out the exact number? You do follow age. Exclamation follow age. So, figure out what your goal is when you're drawing art. For me, this is like a motivational factor. Because I have a goal, which is to make webcomics. I wanted to make webcomics... I want to say I started making webcomic. I think I made my first one around 2015, 2016, whenever I really started drawing digital. Oh, why did it not work? I don't know. I cannot help you. Maybe I could click on your name and tell you. You've been following since January 22nd of 2022. So yeah, you've been following me for almost 3 years. Almost. Not quite. You're about a weekish, week and a half-ish behind Penguina. There's a shit ton of different reasons. Yeah, to make stories, to make artworks, to inspire others, or like me, to make people happy. Yeah. So yeah, figure out what your art goal is. Like I said, for me, it's webcomics. I want to make visual stories. I've always loved reading webtoons, webcomics, shit like that. And it inspired me to start trying to make my own. And I did for a while. For a couple of years, I made my own webcomic, and then it just became so burdensome on me because I picked an art style that arguably is not good for making webcomics. It made me slow, it made me sluggish, it tired me out. I could only get a page out once a week, maybe, and that is bad. You usually want to do at least 2 or 3 pages a week. If you're bogging yourself down that hard when trying to make a webcomic, it's not gonna go anywhere. So it was pretty bad, actually. Since when have I become a metric to figure out how new people are? I don't know. There you are. It's because you've been following me since the day I started streaming. Literally 2.5 hours after I hit that go button, you followed me. I would use Himiko, but Himiko followed me like a week before. Medic followed me an hour before you. Wait, no. An hour after you. Because you were 22, Medic is 21. Medic followed me an hour after you. Damn. Speaking of webcomics, can I boost a friend of mine's webcomic? She's been doing it for a little over a year, and I want to give her the followage she deserves. Probably not here. I wouldn't know where you would be able to do that, because I don't have a channel for boosting anything. I've been way late. You're fine, Radiant. You're fine. But, yeah, so figure out what you want to do. Normally people say, yeah, I want to make, maybe character art for, like, D&D or whatever. Maybe you want to draw not safe for work material, because that's what you're into. Or maybe you want to draw fan art of a certain IP, like, let's say you really, for some reason, really like Steven Universe, and you want to draw Steven Universe-related art. That's an art style you can look at instead of honing your own. There we go. So that's what your art goal is. What do you want to draw? If you can't figure that out, it's going to be real hard to actually know what you draw. Let's take Leon, for example. He wasn't really an artist for the longest time. He didn't, like, actively seek out making stuff. And now he's making shit all the fucking time, because his goal is to make pixel art for his Vandalt TTRPG. That's fucking cool. And he does. And it looks nice. For me, I just want to learn the basics and then go from there, which is fair. That's also a pretty good goal. Don't worry, Radiant, it's just for funsies. Followage doesn't really matter. Only difference is I have half a million sugar cubes. Jesus Christ, big way to. Also, thank you for the stretchy. Let me pop my back. Whew. But yeah, that also, all of these tie into an eventual art style that you can develop, because that's half of the point of drawing anyway. At least for me. People do freak out a lot over, oh, I want my art style to look unique or whatever. No art style is gonna ever look unique. Everyone copied from someone. In fact, anime, nowadays, is a long evolutionary line from one of the first Eastern cartoons called Astro Boy, which was based off of Disney anyway. It's all down. All inspiration from the fucking bottom. Your art style will come to you. It will. Whether you want it or not, it will show up. I learned how to draw dragons first, and I migrated to drawing humanoids. Ultimately, I wanted to draw characters. Yeah! Oh my god. Pinguina said, I have 500,000 sugar cubes, or 50,000 hi, I'm new redeems. You little shit. Turtles all the way. Turtles. Hi, Loros. Welcome back. But, yeah, oh, if your art goal is to be a furry artist. There it is, there's another one that you want to do, you know? Shit like that. Or maybe you're really interested in drawing mechs. Fucking power to you. I can't do that. Most artists I know can't do that. I'm weak. I don't want to draw mechs. Don't make me. Thank you for that, Pat Loros. If you ask for mechs in my commissions or my redeems, I will kick you out. I'm not doing it. But, yeah, so don't expect it to look the way you want right away. And having a goal in mind helps you move forward. That's a motivational factor. So, basically, don't get discouraged and find your motivation. Those are the points of these first two. I had a third one, but I don't remember. So, fun fact, Bully used to be able to do mechs and stuff much better than he could things like furries or humans. Yeah. Also, don't force yourself. That's true. Do not force yourself. If you just can't draw that day, like, even if you want to draw but you just can't, sit there and just squiggle the page, man. Don't set up unrealistic expectations for yourself, or that you have to draw, like, a face that day. No, just, if you can't, just, if it's not working, just scribble. At least get your hand warmed up to the actions, because half of drawing, for me at least, is muscle memory. This hand knows what to do. So when I'm doing my little art doodles here, the reason I can make my circles like that very consistent is because my arm knows what it's doing. That is just years of muscle memory. So there is nothing wrong with just sitting there and just scribbling. Just get your hand used to moving. There is nothing wrong with that. I remember my third point. Okay, so this isn't gonna make sense at first. Draw light and draw with your arm. This is more of a fundamental thing rather than a I have to make sure my brain doesn't stop me from drawing thing. Hand remember square, brain no member. Wait, what? Are you talking about my hand remembering what a square looks like, but my brain forgot what it was called? Because that did happen. I can't require mechs. How about highly technological advanced spacesuits? Ooh, you're cutting a fine line there, Pumina. Yes, I would like a highly detailed model of the X-Wing. I will cry. Thanks. Thanks. Yeah. Okay, so my third bit of advice, draw light and draw with your arm. If you're drawing traditionally, this goes double for you. So on the tablet, if you're drawing digitally, if you push too hard, you're gonna start digging into your poor fucking tablet, and you're gonna fucking crush your nub into a fucking flat piece of shit. And if you push too hard when you're drawing traditionally, you're going to leave indentations in your paper that you cannot erase, and it's going to look like shit. So do not push hard when you're drawing, especially when you're sketching. You want to make that shit light, baby light. See, like, this is me drawing light, this is me pushing hard, light, hard, light, hard. So you can see there's a clear difference. You can definitely see it here. Light, hard. Light, hard. Light, hard. And that's because my pens have something called pen pressure. And you're going to snap your pen. Oh, you can definitely snap your pen or pencil. I don't want to crush my nub. You'll crush your nub. Don't do it. Don't crush your nub. Just be gentle with your pen. And that's what I mean by draw light. If you feel like you're going to put an indent in your shit, stop it. Also, that's putting very bad strain on your muscles. Stop it. You're gonna get a hand cramp. Stop it. Especially when you go to correct mistakes in line. Yeah. If you draw too hard on your paper and you go in there and you erase it, let me do this kind of eraser. It's gonna be stuck there forever because you're gonna see the stupid indentations and you're gonna be like, damn it, why didn't I take Desmond's advice and not shove my pen through the whole notebook? Gentle strokes. Yeah, you wanna be gentle. Like this, gentle. And the second part of that advice, draw with your arm. This isn't going to be sound advice for every single little drawing you do, or every single little piece of the drawing you do, but for the most part, you don't want to draw with your wrist. This is me drawing with my wrist. It's short, tiny strokes. It looks kind of bad. I can't reach. I don't have the range. Here's my eyebrows. And you see how, like, sketchy and stupid it kind of looks? And that's because I didn't give myself the range I need. I was drawing with just my wrist. I use my chalk for what I'm going to paint on my paintings once the background's done. Yeah, that's your sketch layer, basically. Mm-hmm. I like how you forgot the word for chalk. Girl. Girl, please. But, yeah, don't draw with your wrist. When I'm drawing, I am not drawing, like, this is me using my wrist. You see how, like, stiff and stupid my circles look? Here, I'm gonna do this with my wrist first. I'm only using my wrist to draw. Now, when I say that, that means I'm only rotating my wrist. And it's really hard to control. However, when you move your arm using your elbow instead, don't move your wrist at all. Keep it locked in place as far as I'm concerned. Keep that shit loose and chill. And move shit with your elbow instead. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, so nice. You want to draw with your whole fucking arm. You want to throw that bitch around. And the reason for that is because you need More control on your shit. If you're doing it with just your wrist, your motions are limited. If you're using your whole fucking arm, you got this. So like I said, here's my wrist, here's my arm, here's my whole arm again. And then I make the circles tiny because it's going away. So, draw with your arm, not your wrist. If you're in something really small and you have to draw like a tiny little thing like this, sure, wrist is fine. But if you're drawing for long strokes, like if I want to draw like a piece of hair, for instance. There it is. There's the big old piece of hair. These lines up here are used by my arm. Some of these I did with my wrist. So get into that hot habit of using your elbow to draw instead. Basically, lift that down elbow! Quite literally, bend that shit. What the fuck? I can draw circles using my arm with magic? What is this? I know, right? Look at this. Oh, it's crazy. Put your elbow into that shit. Put your shoulder into it. Don't draw with your fucking wrist. That's how you get fucking carpal tunnel or whatever the fuck it's called. That's how you throw your shit out, and that's how you hurt yourself sooner. You don't want to hurt your wrist. You want to chill. So, those are my 3 introductory pieces of advice. And they all stem from... Hold on. Don't choke your strokes, man. Don't choke your strokes. I like that. Okay, so basically these 3 pieces of advice, my introductory advice, comes from the fact that don't get discouraged if it don't look how you like it. You will get there, I promise. Try to figure out some motivation if this is seriously what you want to go into. Even if you only draw like 20-30 minutes a day, you don't draw that often, you just draw these little whatever. Figure out why you're doing it. The sooner you know why, the easier the actual doing becomes. And for God's sake, take care of your fucking arm. So that's what those are for. That's what these mean. Let me close that off. Alright, let's get to the actual basics, now that we've covered that. Can I draw correctly, please? There we go. Also, you can't do this traditionally, but you can do it digitally. If you fuck up a line, do not hesitate to push that undo button. You see me do it all the fucking time when I'm drawing. Like if I'm drawing a character's eyeball, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And then I do this, and I'm like, I don't like that. And then I do it again. And then I fix it. Do not hesitate to undo. Like I said, traditional, I ain't got nothing for you. Just erase it and try again. But, if you're digital, undo, 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 undo. Do not be afraid to do that. Also, let me save this for you guys, so I don't lose my stuff. I watched a video of some YouTubers I follow, and they were doing TikTok challenges, and one was draw a perfect circle on a giant chalkboard. One of the guys made a perfect circle on a second try because it was a tie. Nice! That's pretty cool. Alright, so, basics. Let me go to my actual document here. I had a document that I wrote down for what I would want to give you guys as basics. So let me do this. Basics. Okay, so let me go find that real quick. Also traditional, I would recommend getting a good quality eraser. You should give them shapes. Hand them a box. Hand them a box. Give them a box. Aha, here it is. Art tutorials. Okay. Okay, so basics. Here we go. And this can go hand in hand with your art style development, quote unquote, because I know a lot of people do like to focus on making one, and like Radiant said, it will show up. You can't stop it. But if you have a very specific kind of way to draw in mind, because of said goal that we mentioned, it's good to study it hand in hand with the basics, because I've learned that if you learn the basics first and you learn from a more realistic source, that's gonna just be your art style for a while, and you're gonna be stuck with it, and you're gonna be like, fuck, how do I change this? Because that happened to me. I drew in a more realistic-ish art style for a while, and I fucking hated it. After a while, I got fucking sick of it. Here, I'll show you guys my evolution here. I actually have a document for this. And it absolutely fucking frustrated me. So, oh wait, this is how I used to draw when I was in high school. You guys can see my shit here. So this was from 2007 to 2010 when I graduated. As you can see, I mixed realism with anime a little bit. I kind of went back and forth with it. See, she's more anime, she's more realistic, he's anime. Oh look, it's Baby Adokin. This is also Baby Adokin. But yeah, you can see I was kind of jostling around with it. And then I stopped drawing for a while, or at least I wasn't drawing super often. And then in around 2014 is when I got my first tablet, and I started drawing in boo-ass boo Photoshop boo. But you could see it was still pretty, like, kind of realistic. I didn't have any openings on my eyes like you see in anime. I was giving them nostrils, like right here. I was closing the lips in most of the time, like right here. You can see I have a line that completely closes. And I was like, okay, it's fine, I guess. But this was a product of me studying more realistic art styles. And I didn't like it. After a while, it started irritating the piss out of me. So here, I was fine with it at first. And this was also when I started trying to make my webcomic. I didn't like the limits that a more realistic art style gives you for making webcomics. I wanted to make more bold, brash expressions, and you can't really do that with realism. It's hard. It's hard to make them look like, you know, like anime, for instance. Dude, that shit is so expressive, and you're like, fuck, this shit looks like garbage. So all of these characters look so fucking stiff. And, like, I didn't really draw them smiling much. I didn't really draw them making much of an expression. And that's because I just straight up wasn't comfortable enough doing that in the art style. Because to me, it looked uncanny and stupid. Here you can see I sort of gave a couple of characters facial expressions later. But even here you can see, with the line art, I gave it more expressive features. And by 2017, I was starting to kind of get sick of the art styles that I was stuck with. And you can see I tried something anime here. I was starting to get experimental again. So I guess that's the main point of that, is stay experimental. If you see something that you really like and you want to emulate it, do it. You don't have to feel tied to one quote-unquote art style. You can draw however the fuck you want. For instance, you guys have seen me draw plenty of times where the characters look, you know, like characters, and then you'll see me go up and be like, teehee. And then you'll see me draw little shitter, you know, like absolute fucking gremlin. Absolute shitpost. You can have multiple art styles. True. Yeah, I drew Pink Diamond. But yeah, don't feel confined to one art style. If you want to practice in other mediums, you can. For instance, you'll start seeing that in this as well. You can see I started getting into the furry art a lot more because I was getting commissioned to do that. You can see I stuck with sketching, cell shading, soft shading. I was playing with a lot of different art styles and ways to draw art. And then this is when I yanked it all back. Because of all this experimentation that I'd been doing, I clearly got sick of what I was doing. So in 2019, I fucking ripped everything out. I stopped my webcomic because it was just getting so fucking difficult for me to keep up because of the art style clashing with the speed that I wanted. And I completely uprooted it. I made it more, not necessarily anime, but definitely a lot more stylized. Oh my lord, the carrot. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is Bobby. And that's his, not really his nephew, but that's like a a family member's kid, and he's like, I'm watching you, taking care of this baby. He is the babysitter. But as you can see up here, with the difference between Owen here and this, like, alien dude, I went from having the eyes completely closed like this, I gave the nose this, like, little tick, and then I gave it its nostril right here. And then the lips came in. I'm gonna bring this down. So you can see the facial differences. I started removing the stupid nostril, like this. I said, fuck you, get out of here. And then I started separating the bottom and top lines of the eyes to give it a more stylized look. And then it started looking like a little more animated. I mean, I liked it. And I kept with that style. I didn't use it for any webcomics for a while, and that was kind of sad. And as you can see, even here, it's starting to evolve. So your shit will change. And in 2022, when I started streaming, my art style went even more anime, quote-unquote, or more manhwa inspired, because like I said, I was looking into making webcomics again, and I was gonna do it in a webtoon format. So my shit changed. I removed the little nose tick I did. I stopped adding lip lines like I normally do, and I started doing this little shading thing here, and then I'd give people their nose bridge with a highlight. I've never done that before. I don't know why I started doing it, but it looked nice, so I kept it. And that's the art style that I have remained with. I've changed a few things here and there. I've gotten a little more detailed with certain stuff. Like here is when I really started getting detailed. I started adding more lines to hair. I started adding a bit more eyelashes. Sometimes I got into cell shading to make it look kind of like gothy or whatever. As you can see here, more hair. And that is where I am today. So, you will evolve. And if it ever goes to a point where you just don't like it, change it. Rip it out. Do it again. Do not feel ashamed to try again or start over. But if you don't have to, don't. If you want to start learning shit side by side with realism, because you want to avoid getting stuck in a more realistic art style and you're like, this is fucking stupid, why am I doing this? Make sure to study what you want to draw alongside the basic rules. So, basics. Everything is made up of a straight line or a curve. I know that sounds stupid, but it's fucking true. You either have a straight line or a curve. If you can make a straight line, you're good. If you can make a curve, you're good. Everything is compiled of these two little shapes. And like I said, I know that sounds dumb, but it's true. Wah! Sugar Skull, thank you for the sip. I do need it because I am thirsty. Now, to extrapolate on this, remember that every single tiny little thing that you can draw is made up of a shape. I'm sure you've heard artists say that shit before, but it's true. Everything is made up of a fucking shape. So, I'm going to assume you're here to draw a person. Everything's made of just those two lines. Draw a 4D line. Satan! Oh, I swallowed a piece of ice. I'm good. Alrighty. But, yeah, everything is made up of shapes. Now, when I say shapes, I don't mean like the 2D, you know, circle, triangle, and square, or what have you. These are the different shapes that you want to use, yes, but you have to utilize them in a way where you think of in 3D. So, you are going to need a pretty good grasp of 3D, either mentally or as a reference off to the side, which I cannot stress this enough. Use a fucking reference. I actually drew art from numbers. It was really cool to do. Well, that does sound really cool. Oh man, I can't see 3D. Damn it, Medic! Everything is built out of straight macaroni or elbow macaroni. Yeah, that's it. I also use like pinboard websites like Milanote and Pinterest. That's true. Those are really good for references. Also, you know what? Hold on. I have a little bit more advice to offer real quick. So, don't be afraid to use references. Let's write that down real quick. My sleeve got caught on my tablet. So, never be afraid to use a reference. And I will also give you the advice that no fucking artist will ever tell you because they like to act like they drew everything from scratch. You can trace certain shit as long as you're doing it privately and you don't share it publicly and say you did it yourself, or if you do share it, you tell people what the fuck you traced. Like, for instance, let's go to... Where is my blue ski? Have a good lyric, sunshine. I need to go shower real quick. Be right back. Of course, of course. Let me go find a... what are they called? True Ref. There is a group that makes pose references, and they upload it on their Blue Sky. I'm looking to see if Senshi Stock, which is another stock pose website, I want to know if they do that too now on Blue Sky. But let me look up Senshi Stock real quick. All those people saying use references are cheating, they can't draw, or they're BSing. They quite literally are fucking lying to you. Everyone uses references. Fucking everyone. Leon uses references as a pixel man. He goes and looks at realistic pictures of something, or even look up the pixel version of it to see how other pixel artists did it, and then make his own iteration. That is what you're supposed to do as an artist. But yeah, okay, so I have Senshi stock. I'm gonna grab one of their pictures because I really like Senshi. All these poses look really nice. Edmund, praise for ads to pass to resume knowledge. Oh wait, I'm gonna wait for ads. Cold take, cheating in art is using AI generated art. Oh yeah, no, that's the coldest take known to man. That's the free space on the bingo card. We all know that's cheating. Especially if you post that shit saying you made it. It's like, dog, no the fuck you didn't. I can see it. Now, going on Pinterest, seeing AI art that you didn't generate, but you like the pose of, snag that shit. You're like, ooh, it's pretty. AI can make references. It can make art. Yeah, I usually use it as a reference. I'm like, I like this pose, but I don't like how this arm looks or this leg looks or whatever. And then I switch it to, like, my needs. So we're going to wait for the ad break to end, and then we will continue. While I'm waiting for the ad break to end, I'm also looking through Senshi stock. I will be sharing them as a link on up here soon, because I want you guys to find them. Is there a way to make me see more pictures at once? I'm sick of seeing like 10 each. How do I look at all of them? Are we back? We're back! I didn't really do anything, I'm just waiting. You can also use fucking text as references or inspirations. I got the idea for a painting off of a quote from a fucking manga. Yeah? Inspiration can strike from anywhere. Okay, so now that you guys are back, we're going to cover the next point that I wanted to give, the point of advice. That basically, you don't be afraid to use references, and if you are in the comfort of your own home, and you are not, you know, screaming from the rooftops, Green fog! Gremlin invasion! Vampire Prince! Hi! Green fog! What were you doing? Oh my god, you were playing the Stanley Parable. That is fucking great. Also, thank you for the shout out. Dude, The Stanley Parable's absolutely fucking great.
Look at that frog. Look at the cute frog.
Why did you do that? There's no like build up. There's just like, here's the middle of a sentence, seagull.
Sorry, this music is real jammy. The cute giggles. But welcome in, everybody.
Sharing a
Hoi
brain
hoi.
cell with the listener.
Oh. I love the, like, Elmo, like, just... meh. The Elmo hands is great.
God, I can't just color.
Alright, I grabbed a couple of references that I want to use for my
Wait.
demonstration here. Think I got all the endings I could with the prince's help. Nice! Dude, it's such a good fucking game. It's really well done. But welcome in for those of you who don't know me. I am Desmond Dracula. I'm a vampire bat butler, also known as a battler. I go by he, him pronouns, and I like to draw as well as rolebuild on Wednesdays. I also play a variety of games from RPGs to roguelikes. And today, I'm actually going over some art tutorial ideas. I'm giving people advice on what I would have liked to have heard about 10 years ago when I was starting up my art career, when I was trying to take commissions, when I was starting my webcomic. I've made a lot of art mistakes here and there throughout my years, and it would have been nice to know this stuff from the beginning. I did not, but now that I do, I'm reinvigorating myself to the efforts of making a webcomic again. But I wanted to take a couple of days to just go over everything for people. And right now I'm going over introductory advice. And I'm about to show these guys what I mean by don't be afraid to use references. Also, like I said, if you're in the comfort of your own home and you're just fucking chilling and you don't know how to draw this fucking arm and it's been bugging you for 2 hours, you are allowed to trace shit to get a better perspective of it. Remember, half of your arm is muscle memory. Half of that movement is you trying to figure it out. So, for instance, I have... which one do I want to use? Let's say I have need for drawing an angelic figure for some reason. I'm making a cool angel character or whatever. I personally, for my art style, I don't like how stiff the pose is. I mean, it looks fine for what it is, but because I'm more dramatic, I like my shit to be a little more flared here. So let's say I really like this pose. The reference is fine, but I don't really like maybe her arm right here. I'm gonna move it, make it look a little nicer. I'm gonna bring this in, and just kind of like, And where I'm bending is different joints that I know can move. And then I'll go to about here. Because let's say I want it, like I said, I want it to be super dramatic compared to how what it looks like right now. Just a little more leaning here and there. And it's because I want to draw this character, but I'm not sure how to get the fucking proportions right. Or let's say you're struggling to draw a hand. Like, there's just this specific hand pose that you want to do, and you're just fucking fighting with it. I know this program actually lets you have hands, but there's also other programs out there that'll let you do this. Where is it? I think I have to upload the hand to the model. Like, it doesn't just drop it there. It, like, does this. But, like, let's say I'm struggling with a hand here. I need to see it at a certain angle. because I'm just fucking fumbling the ball here. There's nothing wrong with doing this and being like, okay, this is the fucking shape and bend that I want it to be. Let's trace that real quick and see what the fuck it looks like. Krita has something similar. And if you understand how hand proportions work, you'll be able to find the shapes. Remember, everything is made of shapes. I usually treat the hand kind of like a weird fan. It's got like a little square, which is here. And then here's like the side of the square. Because remember, it's a shape. This is a little square that looks like this, at least to me. And then the fingers, to me, also act like a fan. So, like this. So whenever I start drawing it, I can find the fingers. And then the thumb, it's attached at the bottom half of this little square and pops out like a little thingy. And obviously I'm going to draw this a little differently to fix with my art style, because I don't draw hands like this. So that's what I mean by use references. Trace if you need to. But now that I've drawn that hand, my hand remembers those shapes. So I'm going to go in and try and redraw that hand again, remembering the position. There's my thumb. That's where it's locked in. Then we got our 4 fingers here. Don't get mad at yourself for not being able to draw hands. Those bitches are hard. Oh, they are exceptionally hard. If anything, reference hands the most. These bitches is difficult to draw. But using that model and my muscle memory for what I drew, I'm going to redraw that hand. And these fingers are behind this one so you don't see them. So there you go. That's what that thing looked like, and that's the finished product. So there is nothing wrong with tracing here and there to get a better understanding of the proportions of the piece. For instance, here, like I said, if I want to figure out like a human body better, follow that body and figure out those shapes. Like obviously her head is some kind of oval. The neck is some kind of tube. Here's the shoulders, and the body's also some kind of like bendy tube. The legs are also just weird little tubes. Like, figure out the shapes that you can see in the body, and it'll be a lot easier to draw. So that's what I mean when I say do not be afraid to use references. Do it for literally everything. People, wings, cloth, draping, gravity, wind, all of it. Do it. It does not hurt to have a reference. So, back on the basics of the 3D, like when I did with that hand, the body is a series of tubes, like the internet. No, medic. Well, it depends on how you see the body. I don't see the body as a series of tubes. It just depends on how you process different things. Because we can find different shapes in the same piece, as it were. For instance, when I draw a head, I see a sphere and technically a piece of paper that's like been slapped onto it. But that piece of paper has been cut. So we're gonna cover that in a second. Draw Skeletor. Oh, draw him. Oh, he's hot. Skeletons have very, very tiny parts. I do not feel like drawing those right now. Oof. But yeah, back to the basics. Try to see these guys in a 3D space. So, like I said, for instance, here's your circle. I want to start trying to draw a head. That circle's a little bungus. Also, do not be afraid, like I said, to hit the undo button if you fuck up your circle. Or if you fuck it up when you're like drawing traditional. You can just go over it like this, and then erase the bits that look a little stupid, like this. And be like, okay, I made it a little rounder. That's what I do when I'm drawing traditionally. I'm like, ah, dang it, and then I fix it. Something like that. So that's how I normally do it. Oops. When I'm drawing on paper. But here's my little circle boy. Doesn't have to be completely perfect, it just has to be a circle. And try to think of this thing in a 3D way, because technically none of this is 3D. It is all 2D pictures on a piece of paper or on a canvas, a digital canvas on the fucking computer screen. Quite literally none of this is real life, but we can do stuff to make the illusion that it is. For instance, for my circle, if I want it to look more 3D, I start adding 3D elements. Like, for instance, I added little lines to make it look like it's got these lines around it and shaping it out. Let's say there's a light source coming this way. That means the light is going to hit it here, and then I'm going to actually start shading it here. Here, let me do this with a bigger pencil.
What the fuck? I am missing! Also, thank you, Green Fog.
Oh, thank you for fixing my camera. Ooh. I was, what? Well, I was chugging water. What do you want from me? Alright, so here's my shading for my ball. As you can see here, I made it look a little more 3D with the illusion of shading and all that. And I think that's pretty fun. And I added this little thing here because I feel like it. But here, let's darken it a little more. Yeah. See? Now it looks kind of... Now it looks kind of 3D. So this is what I mean when I say we need to pass on the illusion that it's 3D. And that is knowing the shapes and how shit shapes around each other. So, back on the whole ball and paper for the face. I've done this before, but I'll do it again. I start with a little circle man. And y'all have seen me do this hundreds of times. So you should probably know how I do this by now. But I essentially, especially when I want the character to be looking at a, like, 3/4 direction, for instance, a la, you know, the Mona Lisa, I usually follow the ball, like this, and then I go down straight. Now, there's a reason I do that, and that is because the face is a little bit flat. If we're not considering the nose or the lips right away, the face is a lot more of a flat plane than the rest of our head. As you can see on me, you can see my big old noggin right here is all round and shit, but then you can see my face is a lot flatter in the front, and it's got like a little bit of a triangle to it. Shapes. I need to do so many more studies on the planes of the face. Yeah. The face, once you get the understanding of its shapes, it's easy. But, like I said, to me, the face is if you took a piece of paper and just kind of stapled that bitch on. Like, let's staple it right here, right? Let's just ka-chunk it right here. So I'll put the 0.1 of the paper here, 0.2 of the paper here. And because the sphere is round, the paper is going to kind of curl around it slightly. And then it's going to droop down. And because of that curve up here, it's also going to curve slightly here. So this is my ball and paper model that I like to do for my faces. Now, I don't draw that when I'm making my faces, but the paper is still there in my brain. So, because, you know, I've been doing this for so long. You could also use the luminous method. Let me look that up real quick, because I know what you're talking about. Oof, I had to drop my pen. I looked up luminous method and it's not giving me what I want. There we go. Oh, Loomis method. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Okay, so Loomis is something similar to what I'm doing. But which I'm going to be getting to in just a second. The paper, quote-unquote, is cut right here to get the jawline. You can also cut it here to kind of get the face curve a little better. And that's kind of the Loomis method. And that has reference to the Loomis model, which is a very basic head shape. And it usually looks like this. I think this was drawn by someone named Gavat. So, as you can see, I'm doing something kind of similar, except I'm attaching a piece of paper right here to act as a starting point. But yeah, this is like the basic shapes, quote-unquote, that I use for my faces. If you want to go the Loomis method, you can start with your sphere as well. And you can cut off, quote-unquote, cut off part of the circle. Remember, we're thinking of it as a 3D object. So, for instance, if this circular head does this, because it's a rounded object, and if I added a line to it at an angle, it would curve around the object like this. You would want to cut the side of it. So if this line is following the front of the face, people usually do this method of adding a little circle here to make it look like a flat plane. So you're basically taking a circle or taking a sphere that looks 3D like this, and you're cutting it on either side. So here's the circle facing forward, and then here's the circle facing us again. You've hacked off, like, these ends a little bit to give that more skull shape, because our head is not a complete circle. It does have that flattened little spot right here. So that's what the Loomis method has for the head. It has this little cut that curves into right here. It's presumably also on this side, but you can't see it because the curve of the head's in the way. And then the rest of it, once again, you add that straight line, and then you add this fun little triangle right here that attaches. It's not a full triangle. It doesn't come to a full point here. But it's certainly a piece of your head. I'm suddenly very aware of my skull, as you should be. That's all you are. But that's usually the Loomis method. It looks nice. It looks really good. And that's something you usually want to keep in mind when you're drawing the noggin, is that it is not a complete circle. Oh, I found another reference point for it. See, this is a very good way to describe it. As you can see, this is the, 3D illusion that we do. Welcome to my world. I'm consciously feeling the shape of my skull in my head. Hee. The sugar is stored in the skull. True. But as you can see here, we see that they are showing off the 3D shape of the head right here and here. We won't worry about this just yet. And you can see here that they cut into the circle right here into like a straight line while this is a curve. And then here's the Loomis method with that fun little shape that follows it. And then you add the jawline. Now the reason I do my paper method, which is close to the Loomis method, is yes, you still want to cut off that side of the head so that it looks kind of flat, as you can see. Where it looks kind of like a crash dummy, actually. Oh, hello, kitten. My Cecil jumped. And then this is my jawline. Now, I usually cut off parts of that paper right there. And I go, goodbye, goodbye. And then we have my jawline. And the reason I consider it paper is because whenever I turn the head around, it's got the shape underneath still. So if it's facing straight away, it will have that cut from the front, As you can see here, it would be snipped off. If it was faced to the side, and I had that paper attached like this, which I usually do it about halfway up, I would be cutting it right here, as you can see. And it gives off this nice little 3D effect for me personally. You can do the method however you wish, but this is how I choose to do it. And then I'm going to get rid of this little paper line that I added. So that's how I like to do my heads. I normally don't draw the quote-unquote paper right away. I just sit there, I draw my circle, I draw my face, my face middle line for reference. I find where the jawline is going to start, I come in, and then I just kind of draw it. I don't worry about cutting anything anymore, but if you need that, like, reference point, you can continue to do that. Or, like I said, follow the Loomis method. That's pretty good, too. Ugh, I have an itch, and I have a pop. Now, we'll be drawing the head at different angles later, so we can see the actual shapes. Or I guess we could do it now. So, you guys already saw how it looked when I drew it full-faced. There's my little noggin. It's a little flat here. And then here's my quote-unquote paper. Or my little triangle in the front. Here's a side profile of it. And we're not worrying about noses or features at the moment. We're just focusing on the basic head shape. We'll add in the extra details here in a minute. But here's the jaw. Boop. And see that eye line right here will go right here. And fun fact about the jawline, it actually keeps going this way. It's attached to the neck. I actively think of my bones in the day-to-day life because then I can get better at art. That's just me, Joe. That's just me, though. You shouldn't. Actually, no. Sometimes it helps. If you are struggling with, like, a muscle definition or something, I'll actively, like, flex something and feel the definition of my muscle. Or...
Thank you for the drink.
Let me get a sippy. Oh, I popped my leg. Also, with your elbow. If I want to ever remember where my elbow is and how it bends, I will follow my arm and feel around on my own arm. Your body is also a pretty good reference. If you're struggling with a hand pose, take your hand, fucking stare at it. Draw it. Draw it from what it looks like. I do that sometimes. I just stare at my hand like, okay, that's how that moves. That's what that looks like. You are your own reference. My upper arm drawing got much easier than I had to apply T on said arm every dang day. Oh! I see. Ugh, gross. I burped. Alright, but yeah, this is a front view of my little noggin. This is a side view. And these are just made up of two little shapes. The basic shape is made up of these little shapes. Now, in order to focus on an actual face, we're going to have to start learning some proportions. This is where art style comes into. If you don't want to draw something super realistic, if you're not into the specific proportions that a human face is normally made out of, that is perfectly fine. However, it is always good to learn the rules and break them at the same time. Normally you'll hear artists say, oh, you have to learn the rules before you break them. No, 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 no. Learn them while breaking them. Learn how it works in real life so that you can apply it to the art style appropriately and make it look good. Once I found that technique, drawing arms has been easier for me too. Oh, my upper arm... Hold on, where is it? My upper arm drawing got much easier. Yeah. It's pretty easy. Use your arms and draw them. But let me bring this down real quick. No, I fucked up. Doop. So there's the head, and the shapes I use are a circle and a piece of paper. Or I guess a square that's been flattened. So every single little body part is basically like this. Is this Castlevania? It is Castlevania. I love Castlevania music. Doo-dee-doo. You'll hear me start randomly singing it because it's just really good. But yeah, every single fucking thing made up of in existence is made up of these combination of shapes. And once you are starting to recognize what these shapes are, it's gonna be real easy to draw. Oof. So, let's start applying. Should I actually do the body first or the face first? What do you guys think? Should we work on the whole body? Or should we work on the face? Because I don't know if I want to zoom in on the face yet, or if I want to give you guys... I finally registered and entered Flight or Flight. Nice, as you should. A body. Alrighty, cool, cool, cool. So I'm going to bring this down here. Body. Alrighty. We will work on the body next. So we got the head, the shape at least, and now we'll look at the body. Body. Excellent. And then we'll zoom in. So the way I do the body, you guys have seen me draw plenty of characters as well. Like in their full, well, maybe not completely full. I don't draw full bodies all the time. I only do that once in a while if I'm feeling a particular way. But let's go and grab a reference. I might go back to Senshi stock and grab a reference for like a full body. One where she's just standing there. I don't want her to be doing anything super crazy pose-wise. I just want her to be standing there. That way we can get a full understanding. Ooh, this is actually really good. Who is this? Who are you? Who are you? Juke Pub. I'm trying to make sure I don't get fucking clapped, but this is just like art references. Surely Twitch won't get mad at me if I'm just drawing. But they're not even naked. They're just wearing clothes. Okay, so I'm gonna use this as a fun little reference to help with everything. So, you can already see here for the head how I've explained it already. Where if I'm drawing the head, I give it that fun little circle. You can see the circle. You can also see the flattening of her head right about here. And here. And then you can see that line. And then the quote-unquote paper, or her jawline. Right about here. Her jaw is a lot more square than what this lady has, or what I drew here. And that's another thing you can learn, I guess, whenever you're feeling leggy. Yeah, whenever I'm feeling leggy, I draw leg. But we'll go into that later. We don't have to worry about facial shapes. But remember, human bodies are very unique. We have facial structure, lips, noses, eyes, all of it can look different. But we're not going to focus on that right now. I'm just going to give her what I did for my others. So you can kind of see that shape. And then over here, you can definitely see it with that flat here. Draw leggy out real far. Leggy out real far. And then you can see that curve right here of that, the Loomis method as well. So, you can see the 3D shapes in the face if you focus on the structure. So, going up to her actual body, we're going to start working on the actual shapes for this too. So these are the shapes I personally find in the body, in the face. It's not going to be the same for everyone, and if it works better for you in another way, do it that way. This is just how I personally do it. So here's her head. Oh, I am on the wrong layer. We've got her little circle for her head. I'm going to give her her jaw. There she is. Now, the way I do bodies is I normally focus on the shapes of the pieces in here. Let me move this. Nope, wrong brush. I need to use a smaller brush for this because the reference is just so small. I might actually blow it up a bit. Make it easier to see, but now that the head's in place, she is tall. My god. Tall girl. Alright, so for the neck, the first thing I focus on is this thing right here. You see this like V in my neck right here? And these two muscles on the outside of it? I usually focus on that first, and I find where the collarbone is going to start. I don't touch shoulders per se, I follow the collarbone. So normally it starts about here at the midpoint of the jaw. Depending on the person and depending how big the neck is, it can be bigger or thinner. But I normally bring this down first. And I think of this as part of the neck. And that's the first thing I focus on. So you're going to see me do this on this side as well. I can show you how I did it. So here's her head, here's her jaw, here's that flat part of her head that we've seen in the Loomis. And this is what I'm focusing on, this piece of the neck. Think of it as like a half a funnel almost. Like a triangle that's been folded up in on itself, kind of like this. It's this little piece of the larynx that just comes down. That's where your vocal cords are. If she was male, if she was biologically male, she would actually have this little bump in her neck like this, which is the Adam's apple. Not everyone has one, and some biological females actually do have one. I know my mom does. You get them yourself. Grab yourself by the neck. Yeah. Actually, yeah, if you want to lean your head up and touch those muscles, it helps. You can feel all that shit in there. So that's what I normally draw first when I'm focusing on my necks. And then I follow the collarbone, like this. And then I find the shoulders, because the shoulders attach right there to those collarbones. If you follow that, you'll be able to find it. Now, there's a fun little thing about the body that not a lot of people cover, and that's this, like, strange diamond shape we have going on here on our necks. You don't just take this and connect it because it looks stupid. We actually have these back muscles back here that add, like, this extra flap here, like right here and here, as you can see. And it's this strange little diamond shape. So if we were to look at her from her back, you can see that diamond shape really easily right here. These extra muscles that peek out. If we were to look at her from above, like let's take off her head and bring her neck down, and here's her collarbone, here's her shoulders, you would see that it looks like this. Like, let's say we're looking down at her. That's kind of what it looks like. It's a very interesting little set of muscles. So that's what I do. I follow that little diamond shape from behind her. These two little triangle shapes that fold in, and I attach like that. Now, it can be raised really high or lowered really down, depending on how muscular you are. So, you know, let's say you're not muscular at all. Your neck will be like this. But if you're like super beefed out, you can have something like this. So that is a muscle, and that can get bigger. But because this lady's pretty spindly, I'm gonna give her this spindly little neck, and I'm gonna give her that tiny muscle right there. After that, I just start following the body. Sometimes I do this, I add this together and treat the shoulders as like a tube attached to each other here. So like, for instance, if I want her to be facing this way, I'll add in that neck piece. I'll find her collarbones. And then I do this. That's a tube now. And we could even erase this to show that it's a tube. So that's how I treat the shoulders. I know some people treat these as like different joints instead, but I see them as kind of like a tube. So if I were to look down at her, I would see her shoulders looking something like this. And then her neck would be attached via collarbones like this. And then there would be her neck. The next shape I add is the little triangle. Also remember, your shoulders move with your arms. They do. Your shoulders can move, and this skin will always move too. This skin is attached to your shoulders, so if you move your shoulders, that skin is going to go up with it, like this. So let's say she's raising this shoulder, this skin is going to go up and even fold in on itself, because it's wrinkly. And like I said, raise a shoulder. Feel those muscles. Figure out what it feels like if you ever want to do that. But we're not going to worry about any of that shit right now.
Thank you for the sip. Empress!
I am alive. Hi. Good thing to learn for topology on 3D models, too.
I fucking hate topology, but I know it's necessary.
Maybe I mostly hate it because I do low poly, less than 400 tries models, and fucking frustrating to get it to work without bending stupid. Weirdly enough, the higher quality of the model, the easier it is to do topology. I don't understand why. Ugh, thank you for my water.
Mr. Streamer, when do I start taking NASA for work for comms to afford rent?
When you learn how to draw animals and put it on a person. We started that like an hour ago in class. Yeah. Drunk lazy purple.
Whoa, also welcome in, Empress.
I'll be doing good. We're doing art tutorials. Alright, so after I worry about the little shoulder tube that I got going on here, I start doing my little triangle. So what I mean by that is I follow from the, I want to say about the midpoint of the shoulder, like about here, where it's attached by the tube here, and I just go fucking down. I come down and I meet it at a point. It's a triangle. And that's how I shape that part of the body. I'm doing okay, just stopping and picking up food. I'm on my way back with my car and drive soon. Okay, please drive, careful. Me absorbing everything.
Hi, Salem.
So, at a front view, this is what this would look like. My little triangle. On a side view or a 3/4 view here, I would have it arch just a bit, because bodies, remember, they're not completely straight. We have curves on everything. And I would follow that again. I would follow this curve under here. This is the back, technically, of this tube. It's that back muscle, and I would follow it, and I would come right in on this curve. And there's my triangle. So as you can see, my triangle isn't necessarily straight like this. It's got a curve to it. And I'll show you again over here. So here's the collarbone, here's my front part of my triangle, and once again, it's curving naturally. The body just naturally has a little curve to it. And it curves in on where the pelvis area starts, and then I follow that back muscle, and I curve right in again. So this is how I do my shape. This is how I find the body. I said hi earlier, but I think you thought it was Sugar Skull because of the text color. Oh, maybe. Oh, wow, that was a long time ago.
I'm sorry, Salem.
You did say hello. My computer updated without my permission, so I'm an hour late. I am so sorry, buddy. Get back in here. You're okay. I promise you didn't miss too much. But, yeah, that's how I do my little triangle. That's how I draw my bodies. So you'll see me quite frequently go in. Let me do a quickie real quick here. Draw my shoulders here. And then I'll be like, I want my body to be like this, just chilling. Boom, done. So over time, whatever method you pick up, the more you do it, the easier it's gonna get. Inside of you is a pizza slice. This is important. Genuine. Well, like I said, this is how I do it. It can be different for you guys. I know some people need to draw the rib cage first. So there's people out there who will draw like a little box here, for instance. Here, I can show another method other people have done. Some people will just straight up draw this as a tube, draw this as a tube, and then draw this as like a box, and then this is like a triangle, and then they'll leave like this little space. That's also valid. Like here's the box, here's the triangle, here's the tube, here's the tube. People do certain ways. If it works for you, go for it. I do circle rib cage, line for spin me, and then something for the pelvis. Yeah, I know some people will also go in, like I said, here's your tube or whatever, here's your neck tube, and then they'll go in and draw the actual cage, like this. Some people have to draw the cage and the actual pelvis, like this. So here's the rib cage again, here's how it curves on the body. See how it's facing this way, but then it curves this way. And then here's the pelvis facing this way. And then here's it's facing this way. Some people have to draw that as well. So if you can find a shape that you want, do that. Yes, that's how I do. Yeah! This is just how I personally do mine. So once I hit that bottom part, I start finding the hip. Normally it's raised at about here. And I usually have the hip teetering at the opposite end of the shoulders. So for instance, if the shoulders are tilting this way, I'm gonna have my hips tilted the other way, like that. But because she is straight on with both, I'm gonna keep it like that. And then I find the leg line, right about here. For ladies, it's usually lifted a little higher. For men, it's usually a little lower whenever I draw. But for her, I'm gonna lift it. And then, following about halfway down this triangle, thank you for the pet, little, and the sippy. Yeah, ribcage shape helps figure out where tummy goes. Hey, Hibiko, thank you for the bap. But yeah, about halfway down, at least for women, I go halfway down. I find the curve of the hip that I want to do. So it could be a subtle curve like this. I could come in and really give her like the thickness if I want. But I find that, and it's like a little triangle. Once again, it's a funnel, like half a funnel shape, like this, that I just kind of pop onto the body. So that's normally how I do it. If I'm doing it over here, same thing. Here's the line for the pelvis. Here's the leg attachment. And I think I do it like this a little bit because I work with 3D. This is usually where the topology of the leg starts for most 3D. Same thing with the shoulders. The shoulders, when working on topology, have this, like, spherical shape to it up to a certain degree. Yeah. So I think that's why I do it. I'm thinking of it in a topological reason. But yeah, here's where I go my hips. I'm gonna give her a fatter ass, no offense to the lady in the pose. I just like giving curves. But yeah, you'll see here that I'll add that little funnel right here. You pop it on. That little funnel, like this. You just slip it right on. It looks like this. And same thing on the other side. Boop, pop on the funnel. Now because the funnel is tilted weird, I do tilt the legs differently here and there. And then if we're looking at her from the side, I just figure out where the pelvis is, and then I follow the back and boop, give her that booty. So the butt is usually a big old circle. So that's what I'm following, and then I pop on that hip part right there. I gave her a huge ass. I did not mean to. Ma'am, you look very disproportionate. Let me fix that. Okay, that looks better. But you can see here, I followed the tushy. I gave it a bit of a curve, but I still have that little triangle, that little sort of 3D funnel that I popped on, and it looks kind of like this. Then the rest is round. Anyway, I was trying to actively not be horny, but while Himi showed up, god damn it. Alright, but that is how I do it. Now, with chest, it's not that hard. In order to find the shape of the breasts, I usually look towards water balloons. I know that sounds stupid, but it's how it works. Picture like a raindrop, for instance. Breasts are not just a fucking circle. That looks stupid. No one's boobs look like that. I'm just sitting here. Oh, poor Mimi. So, since I'm working on a feminine model, we'll go with the booba. The booba shape. So there's nothing wrong with starting off with a sphere to kind of find where it's gonna sag, but everything has gravity, boobs included. So I usually like to picture it as a raindrop. Here, let's pretend this is a flat surface. Maybe someone's chest, who knows? Here's the flat surface. And if I want to draw a raindrop rolling down the surface, you find where it's gonna droop, right about here, and then just like a raindrop shape, as you should know what that is, you follow it. It naturally just curves down the body, like so. As you can see here, here's another raindrop, naturally curves. So now that we know that it kind of acts with that gravity in mind, we can follow it here. So, chest, the way I work it, it is also a piece of like triangular skin that holds on to your shoulders, which attaches right here. These are the points. So that's normally where I start the booba. So we find that little round spot. She's not that big, so I'm gonna be kind. Hello, Fanboy Satan! Nice. Welcome in, buddy. Welcome to the Bat Cafe. Please take a seat, enjoy your stay, and enjoy some tea while you're at it. I'm gonna eat that. Oh. I ate Lillian's emote. Fanboy Satan! Welcome him in. Alright, but yeah, that's how I handle welcome in my presence, of course. Welcome to my Bat Cafe. I am currently not a bat. Someone turned me into a human. I am now Norm Elman. Welcome in, we're doing art tutorials. Well, at least I'm showing people how I draw. Not all of it is correct for others. This is subjective, that's the word. It is all subjective. But now that I know how booba work, you give it that sag right there, that natural sag here, and then you give it the natural sag here. And each one... Norm Elman sounds like normal human. No, it's Norm Elman, haha. Here I am, I'm a bat again. Thank you, Green Fog. Normal Caesars, fight me. Alright, but as you can see, it starts to kind of droop a little bit, and it's got like this little raindrop shape to it. I'm also going to give it a bra, because I don't want Twitch yelling at me. So over here, same thing. It's going to be flattened on the actual chest and the muscles underneath, but the natural fatty tissue of the breast will make that raindrop, that little sliding raindrop shape. So this will be like where it would be laying flat. It would curve on the body like so. And then the fat would pocket below. So it would do this. It will curve like so. And because, once again, it's attached here, it'll do that here too, and it'll curve. And technically, they're attaching sort of somewhere up here to kind of have that, like, droop look. But you don't usually see that on the actual character. That would look stupid. So, as you can see, this is where it would droop, where it would hang, kind of. And because the breasts are actually like folded in on the flat of the body, you can do this. You can have it like actually curving, especially if they're big enough. You will see that. So here's the actual chest, here's the flatness of the breast on it, and then it just folds on top, like quite literally like a raindrop falling down the thing. So gravity, and you'll see it over here too. You'll see that droop, and then you'll see it slowly gather here and be flattened here. And attach right there at that spot on the shoulder, because that's where that pinch of muscle is. If you actually raise your hands and put them right there, like on the crux of your muscle, that is where the most of your muscles actually bunch up and is what helps you move your shoulders around. That and your shoulder's a ballpoint, but you know what I mean. Have some garlic bread. I fucking love garlic bread. Dude, garlic bread's delicious. I'm not even ace. I just love garlic bread. So that's how I normally do the booba. With the men, it's different, but that's how I treat the boobs. Let me give her her bra. I promise she's covered, Twitch. I promise. Okay. And then I work on the legs. Now, the way I treat the legs is I take my body and I figure out its halfway point from head to crotch. And then I bring it down. Now, most people are not actually that tall. But that's how I do it. But as you can see here, she is not that tall. Because I normally make my body half and half. But for the purposes of the art piece, I'm going to figure out how tall she actually is in the legs and bring it up here. So it seems to stop at about the nose. IRL. Was your bones cracking? Or maybe those were mine. Oh no. Wait, did you pop something, babe? It's funny. Leon said, crack! Something, something, something amount of heads high. Yeah. Normally, the idealized body structure is 8 heads tall, 4 heads on the top, 4 heads on the bottom. That's not... Oh, I see. She's super long torso. That makes sense. So bodies can come in different shapes. You can have legs be shorter, bodies be longer. I hear 7. Oh. But for her, it seems like her legs are from her nose, the middle of her nose to her groin. But for me, like I said, I normally draw it from top of head to groin, but that's just personal preference. But I will keep how she goes. You can figure out how you want to do your proportions. I usually hear 7. The ideal, quote-unquote, shape is 8. But it's usually 7 to 7.5, which is what we actually are. So with the leggies, of course they're going to be tubes. I follow the tubes. And they're tubes that like start off wider at the top and then come down at the bottom like this. So the tubes get smaller at the knee. And the way I do the knee is I treat it kind of like a diamond. So I do this. It's just there's a little diamond just chilling in the fucking leg. So as you can see here, that's the shape of the knee. Now, when I line it, I usually do something like this. I'll do this if she's super muscular, because if you're really muscled, those muscles will actually bulge over the knee like that. But since she's not, we're not going to worry about that right now. And then here's her knee folded in. Because that point would be technically right here. So that's how I treat my legs. I also try to remember that there is actually a muscle right here. Just like in the neck with that little triangle, there's this like triangle shape you can do with the legs as well. If her legs were closed, it would look like an upside down triangle. But these are tendons in the legs that we have, and I do my best to remember these tendons. I will draw them here and there like this, so I'll remember them, and when I'm lining, I'll add them in. So, for instance, let me go and get my... Let me go and get a piece I can show this from. Did Cecil just meow? Cecil, stop it. Cecil is getting huffy baby. Okay, let me go find my humans. Here we go. I have to sneeze. Oh boy. So, for instance, as you can see here, those are my tendons that I was talking to you about. Right there. And as you can see, the knee is kind of like a diamond. I added in these little extra details just to make it look like it's sticking out a bit better. What? Oh, Cecil, stop being a butthole. Bless you. Thanks. I haven't even sneezed yet. Thanks. Alrighty. And now with the final leg, I treat it like kind of like a lemon slice in a way, or like an orange slice, because it's got this like little bulge in the back. Now, you don't see it as much in the front. It kind of eludes me. It's got like this strange little tube shape where it's like two tubes put together. So these tubes that like start out big at the bottom and small at the top, and then you put another one on top like this. So these are the two tubes that I do for my bottom leg. So here's my big tube, my small to big tube, and then I bring it in again to my small tube. And that's the shape I typically go for that part of the leg. And then the foot, it is a fun little triangle. Oh no, ads. Oh fuck. I'm gonna have to wait. Okay, I will wait. We'll redo the leg here once the ads are done. But I will draw these legs as well.
Cecil, you're a silly boy.
Cass is so fat. I didn't even mean to do that. Cecil is chittering at him.
Hi, baby. Are you yelling? Are you yelling at Dad? Oh, your tail's so fluffy.
But yeah, we'll be done. We'll continue once the ads are finished. I might actually do this too, because here's the neck. Here's the head and the back. Here's that diamond shape I was talking about. Shoulders. And then that diamond, or the triangle shape. And since it's the back, the hips curve like this. Like a butt. Actually, no, I'd still follow the actual hips. And then I'd find the ass. So here's the hip. Hip, and then I'd be like, butt. I'd follow that to be like a upside down heart. And then I'd keep those tubes going. Okay, I'm just waiting for the ads. They should be done soon. Are we back? Alright, cool. I stopped when I realized ads were going. So, back on track. I was going to draw this real quick for you guys as well. I was going to draw the head. And on the back, as you can see here, the neck is kind of like attached to the head a little higher. Like about here. And I usually bring that in like that. And then you can see the head from the front a little bit, but it looks wonky. And then we have that diamond shape that I was talking about. We got our shoulders. We have our triangle, like I showed you guys here, but this is the back version. I find the hips right here, I find the curve right here, and then I find that part of the leg that moves. But then I kind of turn it into an upside down heart, because that's where the booty cheeks go. That's the booty cheeks. And then I add in my tube, which is the leg. where it starts off wide up here and then it tapers down here a little bit. Now, the way I handle the knee here it looks like a diamond in the front, but in the back, these are tendons, and they normally stretch out like so. Kind of like the neck. Once again, it's got that like triangular shape to it. So the tendons stick out kind of like this. So it'll look like that, basically. So here's the tendons of the back of the leg. They'll look kind of like this. Alright, so now that we're back, just like how this upper leg has a tapering tube that's like this, so too does the bottom leg have two tapering tubes. It starts out small and goes big, and then it starts off big and then goes small. So this gets bigger right here, and then it goes real small. Now, the big part is usually about up the first third of the leg. About right here. It doesn't go in the middle, like about here. It's a little higher than that. About a third the way up. And the way I draw the foot is I treat it like a little triangle. So, let's take a triangle, like this. Lay it on its side, like this. Here's a triangle. And then I'm going to find the edge of it right here and here and draw it like this. So this is how I draw the shape of the foot, except I add a bit more curves here and there. Cheese block. It's quite literally a cheese block. So here's the foot, here's the, the shape of it. Here's that taper, and boom. We got a foot. Here's that taper again, boom. Little fucking flippies right there. So remember, the leg is a cheese block. The foot is a cheese block. I have an itch. Give me a second. Okay. So we'll see what it looks like from over here. Now, just because the tubes are flaring out on this side does not mean they will be doing it here. Not fully. Because they're kind of tilted to the side here. So here's my tube. Sticks out. And then comes down. And then here's my cheese. Here's my cheese foot. And it will do you good to practice the shapes at different angles, which is another reason we're looking at the shapes to begin with. The reason I say the foot looks like this little cheese shape, is because if you want to draw the foot in a different fucking angle, like, let's say, top down,
Wait a minute.
you can draw it like this.
Who are you?
Nippers, you're not new. We're drawing art. But yeah, you want to know what these shapes look like because you're going to be pointing them in different directions. So the foot, completely from the side, would look like this. Completely from the front, it would look like this, because, here's the top, here's the bottom. You can't really see the back of the heel very well. Not really. Not with this basic shape. If you turn it, like so, you can see it better like that. So that's why we're learning the shapes. That way we can learn how to turn them later. I'm new to, Sanity. Bear. Alrighty, so we're going to do the leg here as well. You see how it kind of bulges here, but it mostly comes out in the back. That seems to be where most of the bulge comes from in the leg. That nice muscle. Whenever I said the leg looked like a lemon slice or a orange slice, this is the spot I meant. This is that big orange slice spot. And it comes down right there. And then we have our little cheese feet. There she is. Cheese feet lady. Anyways, I gotta go. Had fun talking with y'all. Remember to cross your T's and dot your I's or spell ratatouille. Rallaloui. Doesn't making sense and that's new to me. Oh shit, I'm making sense? Hell yeah. Alright, so we'll do the last leg as well. Here's the little bulgy. Bring it in. The bulgy, bring it in. And then the cheese block in the back. We just see the back heel, so it's just a simple little shape that I do. As for the arms, they follow this tube thing where it's like big, small, big, small. Now, if we're drawing really muscular characters, it's a lot less... it's a lot less to look at, but... It's a lot less accurate, I should say. But for simple shapes, it's easy to find. Also, that's where that tendon is, right there. So for her arm, we're going to find that first tube right here. It starts out a little bigger on the shoulder and tapers just a bit down at the elbow. Just like how the leg starts out bigger and gets smaller down here. That's how I do my arms. I usually have them start big up here and then taper just a bit, like so. And then the arm, I do again like this, but this time it's a little different. I normally add this very small little taper. Because just like up here, this taper is pretty small. Or I guess not taper, this first little cylinder we got going on. This first little funnel we have, it's a lot shorter than the one on the leg. And then the second one comes in, like so. I really am doing this as a 3D modeler, aren't I? This is what you would do as a 3D modeler. God damn it. So, that is how I typically do the arms. Once again, you can see it here. Here's the little tube, and then the big tube, little tube, big tube, little tube. Yeah, very similar to how I learned the basic human shape. Yeah, it helps. And then, of course, the hand, the way I treat it is like a little square. And then I treat the fingers like a fan of some sort. So, for instance, since her hand is facing us, the square looks a lot more flat, like this, instead of facing us a little more like this, for instance. And because I treat it like a fan, I add her little thumb here, and we'll focus on the hands themselves later. If you're just looking for basic shapes, I would recommend the mitt, the little mitt. So when I say the mitt, I mean you take the hand, you add a little fingy, just add the little thumb, and then you just add a hand that looks kind of like a mitt. So for instance, over here, here's the little hand, here's the little thumb, and then you just add a mitt. And the reason I do that, you'll actually see that the VTuber hand. You'll see that very commonly in my my races pictures. So once again, let's bring this up, and I'll look at the Eldred races. Oh wait, I didn't do it here. I did it in something else. Okay, hold on. I have an idea. I know what I'm doing. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about though, because I've started getting into the habit of doing this because it just makes shit easier for referencing. Oh, hiccup. Here you are. So, you see his hand? It's technically a mitt. I just drew this square. I attached his thumb at the bottom half point of the fucking square. And the thumb is quite literally a finger without a third joint. So it's got this one little joint here and then this other joint here. And then I just made this a mitt. That's all I did. I just drew the fingers as just a fucking separate circle or a separate square, and then I drew the lines. You can do that if you're going for basic fucking shapes when you're first learning out. You don't have to draw like every single little bit. I can do that. You can do that. See? Here, I'll show you what the mitt would look like if we're looking at it from the top. Here's the top view of the hand. Here's the middle part of the hand. Here's the thumb. Remember, it comes out like a little triangle right here. And then it pops out like this. And then, here's your fucking mitt. Here's your mitt. If you want it to look a little more accurate, you can curve it a little bit like this. And then just draw 3 lines. Boom, you did it. There's your mitt. And that's pretty simple to work with whenever you're just starting out. Like, when you're learning your basic shapes, it works just fine. We ain't here to impress anyone right now. We're learning the basic shapes of the bodies. So, to confirm how everything here works. The head is essentially a sphere that's been sliced into in the center points here, with some sort of triangle or funnel or cut piece of paper, what have you, put on it. And that's how I do that. Now the body, it is a lot more complicated, yes, but once you know all the pieces, it's easy to figure out. You've just got a tube for a neck, tube for shoulders. You have a nice little diamond shape, like this right here, on the back that you can like fold over, which are these little triangular muscles in between the neck and the shoulders. The torso, I just turn into a upside down triangle. The hips are like little half funnels that you just attach to it like I do. And then you've just got tubes for legs and tubes for arms. And they taper near the elbows, and then the second part of the arm, it gets bigger at around the top here, and then it gets tapered again down near the wrist. Same thing with the legs. As you can see, we're all similarly shaped in terms of arms and legs. They follow the same shape pattern, basically. Also, fun fact, your elbows are kind of like tiny knees. So if we were to look at her elbows from back here, for instance, where it bends, it would be this little diamond shape, like how I do my knees. And it would follow, the bone would follow that arm. So right here, it would look like this. And that's how I do it. Which also means that this fun little tendon that you've got in the back of the leg, that is here in the front of the arm. That same exact little V that tucks into that muscle. So, those are some fun little shorthands to know how to work elbows and knees. Elbows are tiny knees. I'm not wrong. Knuckles are also just tiny knees. Because they're those tiny little joints. Now, they do work a little differently. Knees obviously have balls in them, and elbows do not. But they function essentially the same way. They're there to bend your shit. Knees have balls. Yes, knees, that's why it's called a... Yes, knees have balls. You're welcome. Alright, so that is how I work the body. Let's grab this and plop it in here. Okay, so I can close this out for now. So, to reiterate, head, got that fun little circle. Got that fun little cut shape in the head. The jaw starts at around there. That's the Loomis look. And then the body. You've got your fun little tube neck with your little triangle in it. You find your shoulders. Add that muscle in. Get your little triangle body. Find the hips. It's usually just a bit higher than this. It's not too much lower. It's not too high. And at about the halfway point for ladies at least, you find those curves right there. And then the legs, you taper in, you find the knee, and then you bring out like so, and then you get your little cheese feet. So this is something that I was able to pull out of my ass really fucking fast, and that is because I have been doing this for a really long time. Over time, you will be able to do that too. Once you find a method that you really like and you just want to fucking go for it, you're going to be able to just pull this shit out fast. But that comes with practice. That is what you need to practice. Whenever artists like to say you have to practice, they never say what. This is what I'm telling you to practice. Find the shapes of what you want to draw. I'm assuming you want to draw characters, because normally people want to focus on their characters or like certain characters that they like from like shows or anime or whatever. Find the shapes that you enjoy the most for the body. This just happens to be the way I do it. But like I said, there are other methods. I know people who do, you know, like I said, shoulders like this, and then they draw the rib cage like so, and then they add the pelvis, and they treat them like their own shapes. Like, that's cool. I can't do that, or I guess I could, but it'd be annoying for me. And this is how I normally do it. Oh, right, and then the arms. And then the hands. Little thumb and the mitt. Now, I think we should cover a fun little aside real quick. I need to turn this down. Bum, 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 bum. Not turn it off, turn it down. There we go. It's not too loud, is it? It's a little loud. There we go. I'll turn it down just a little bit better. Now it sounds fine? Okay, cool, cool, cool. So, yeah, we're going to pull everything aside for the moment and start finding proportions. That is another fundamental thing that we need to know if we're going to be drawing the body. And now, when I say proportions, I mean everything lines up with itself. Including the face and including the body. So, we can work on that. I'm gonna get rid of this. Now that we know the basic shapes of the body, let's start looking at proportions. If I can spell. I see people use Mirror Tool a lot. Mirror Tool's pretty good. I use Mirror Tool for when I want my eyes to stay proper. Or if I'm using, if I'm drawing something for a reference only and I'm in a hurry. Like if I'm like, I'm not here to make it pretty, I'm just here to show me a thing. Like with that Julian picture I showed you, how his hand looks like a little mitt. It's because I don't need his hand to be a hand. It's just there for clothes. Makes sense. Yeah, you are more than allowed to like take shortcuts or not fully render something if it's not relevant. Don't draw more than you need to, otherwise you're gonna tire yourself out for whatever piece you're working on. This is especially true for webtoon artists because, like I said, I fucked myself up drawing details I shouldn't have. I was being stupid. Do not draw unnecessary details if it's not going to be seen. Like, for instance, if you're drawing a really pretty garden scene and you are, like, zoomed way the fuck in on, like, this one person in the background and you're trying to get their face all detailed, and then you pull back out and you can't even see their face, it's like, why the fuck did I do that for 30 minutes? Don't draw more than you need to. If it's not relevant, don't do it. Alright, so, back to proportions. Hi, little kid. I'm gonna pet him. I'm gonna pet the cat! Yes! I did it! I pet the cat. Hi, Bubby. Hey, don't be mean. He bit my sleeve. Meow, meow. He bit my sleeve! Little bastard. Alright, so proportions in the face and proportions on the body. We'll work on the face first. So, I am gonna use the mirror tool for this specifically, just to make it real easy. Because, like I said, don't draw more than you need to. So, we already know how the head looks. It's got that circle, And then it's got, here's that middle part. And then the jaw. Okay, so here's our standard face shape. I'm actually going to move the jaw up a little bit to match my art style, because that's how I draw. So we have the standard head. That's that cut part right here. We have the paper that's, you know, we've cut off this end. It's been removed. And I want to show you guys how the proportions of the face work. So this is going to be a rule of thumb for almost every person's face. Now you can break this rule to give people a more unique appearance, but for now we're not going to worry about that. So here's my head. How the fuck do I figure out everything else? So the way I do it is I first find my eye line, which comes down to the exact middle of the head. You want about as much upper as you have lower. I could even lower that a little more. So, see, as much upper head as you have lower head. Smack dab in the fucking middle. That is where the eyes go. The eyes themselves, here I'm going to do this to help remember seeing it. The eyes themselves are separated out with each other by the middle and the size of the head, pretty much. Now, my art style doesn't adhere to that because I make my eyes bigger and more expressive. But just for the sake of the art tutorial for the moment, I will draw it more realistically. Which means I'll come in here and draw the chin more realistically too, and actually bring it in a little more. Because the face is a little small. There we go. So, what I mean by that is, you have two eyes, so we're gonna draw 4 lines, I think. I'm gonna draw one right here and one right here. We're gonna separate the face. We're gonna separate the face out into 5 segments that are equally apart from each other, like that. And that's about how the eyes are positioned. So the eyes are one eye away from each other and about an eye's length away from their head. Especially when we're looking at them frontal. So here's the eyeball. And the way eyes work is pretty gnarly. They're eyeballs wrapped in 2 little funnels of skin. It's weird. But we all know the basic shape of an eye, usually this almond shape. So I'm gonna just plug that in. We'll worry about zooming in on all the details later. So here's an eye. There's that shape. And after that, I follow the eye curve of the actual eyeball, because we actually, like I said, our eyelids, our upper eyelids, are resting on top of that eyeball. Like, for instance, here's the eyeball. Remember, it's a 3D shape. And here's the iris. And here's the pupil. There it is. Cute little eyeball. Our eyelids sit on top of this thing, like so. And our bottom eyelids do the same thing, and they attach at about here. So that's what this is. That's this top part that you're looking at right now. We can cover that more later. I'm just showing off what it looks like here. I'm also going to give him some irises. And then the nose follows that point. Let me also give him some eyebrows. Eyebrows don't normally follow a super mega crazy rule of thumb. You can usually do what you want, but they normally stick over the eye just a bit over here, and then they stick over the eye just a bit over here like this. Like so. I'm gonna give this guy some thick eyebrows. There we go. And then I'll give him a hairline. Hairline also doesn't super matter. It can go super high. It can be a little low. But I normally sit it at about here, about halfway up from the top of the head to the eyebrows, just to make it look proportionally nice. But that's how I do it. And the way the hairline works is that it can be straight like this, or it can have, welcome back, Penguina, or it can have a widow's peak like this. But either way, the hairline usually stops, I usually stop it at about here at the eyebrow, and then I bring it down, like so a little bit, and then I come back in. So let's go look at some hairline examples so I can show you what I mean. For long hair, it's hard to see, but for short hair, it's a lot easier. These guys have haircuts, so... This is actually a really good haircut, showing that defined hairline that I was doing, but this dude got it cut this way. Hair is not nearly this, like, crisp. Let me find an example of a dude with a bit more of a natural cut, maybe? This is not as jagged, it's a little more natural, but it is faded here, but you can see he's got this is a widow's peak. Or maybe he's starting to bald a little bit here, who knows. But you can see he's got that cut right here, and then it comes back down, just like how I did here. It's got that cut, and then it comes down. Same thing with this guy. He's got that shape right here, and then it comes down. For some reason, we just have this little patch of hair, and it lines up with our eyebrow a little bit. I don't know why we have that. It's just kind of there. It's just sitting there, chilling. What did I miss? You missed some art tutorials here and there. I covered how the body is shaped. I covered how the head is shaped. Or at least how I do the shaping. And now I'm going over facial proportions. You see, Desmond, I tried the other day doing this, but I can't find the setting to mirror when I draw. Might I pen and paper bug to know when it'll be fixed? I think it is a pen and paper bug. I'm sorry, buddy. You figure it out, though. Also, thank you, Medic, for the yeet. But yeah, that's how hairline works typically. And it helps to also look at hairstyles that you want to draw. But for now, I ain't giving this bitch any hair. He gets no hair. Hi, you. I have a kibby. Yeah, this boy ain't getting no hair. Not for now. I'm just gonna bring his head in. Because he looks stupid. Oh god, the eyeball's over here. Get out of here, eyeball. Because I drew it with the symmetry tool on. Or creepy. Alright, so. Eyes in the middle. Hairline. In between this part of the head and the eyebrows. Typically. Eyebrows not too far above the eyes. Just a little bit. And depending on the person, you can lower it or raise it, but for now, we're keeping it the way it is. Nose. The way I do the nose, I usually put it at about this circle, but that's just how I do it. So as you can see, the eyes are about a third down the circle, maybe even a fourth. And then I put my nose just below that, so about here. Now, because I'm not drawing in my personal art style, for the moment, I'm just showing you guys proportions for just a face. I'm going to give him nostrils. So the way the nose is shaped... Cecil, what are you doing?
What you doing? Are you looking for a toy?
He's trying to fuck with something. I think he put something in Leon's chair and he's trying to grab it. Cecil, stop moving the chair, you dork. Alrighty. But I usually have the end of the nose here. And it's usually shaped like this, where it has its actual tip. Cecil, stop it. And then it has its nostrils, which is about here. So if we were to look at it at a different angle, it would look something kind of like this. So here's the, once again, the triangle shape for the nose bridge. And if we were coming to the bottom, we would see this little circle here, and then attached to that is the nostrils. And the way I draw nostrils, for me, I just draw a little line and call it a day. But if you're trying to be more realistic about it, let's go grab somebody's face. Let's go grab a lady's face. I'm gonna go look for a reference real quick. Also, it helps to just Google stock and then something. So if you're looking for something, just say stock and then whatever you're looking for. It usually yields results. Buddy. Oh, I see. You brought me something. Cecil wants to play. Yeah, yes, I know. Silly cat. Alright, I'm trying to find a good reference with a good angle for this. Let's try this one. Remember, you're allowed to pull up stock shit and trace around it so you can figure out the proportions. Now, because this is not my art style, also, as you can see here, the eyes are about 5 segments equal from each other on her face. You can also see that hairline that I showed you. See how it starts at around the eyebrow, maybe a little bit farther away. So for the nose, the shape that I normally understand it as is having this cute little bulb right here, and then 2 round, like, little cups right here. So the nose, to me, would be kind of like this. And then there's the nostril, and then it curves. So it's kind of like a half circle that's been squished in, or like an olive that's like lost its little hole. It's just got that little shape to it. So that's what we're gonna do with this guy. I'm gonna give him that little bulge right here, that little bulb of his nose. Give him the nostrils, and then bring it up right here. There you go, dude. And I'm gonna have his nose just be curvy. Now, there are noses that can have wider nostrils like this. It can be smaller nostrils. But these are just little proportions that we don't have to fight on right now. We don't have to worry about. Now, the way the proportions work as well, nostrils typically stop at the eye like this. And the nose itself is usually the length of the eye, from the point to here, like so. I don't follow that rule. My noses are long as shit for some reason. I don't know why. I always make them long as hell. But that's the proportions. That's what they're supposed to be. Now, where the fuck do we find the mouth? The way I normally do the mouth is I follow the jawline. So you can see here, this is where her jaw is, and then it stops about here. Now, her face is a lot rounder than the dude I'm drawing here. His jawline is pretty prominent, but hers is not. Hers is actually pretty smooth, but you can still see she's got that curve right here and here. That is about where the mouth starts. And then you bring it in for the chin, right here. So that's about where the mouth is. At least that's how I do it. It can be a little higher, like with hers. It can be a little lower. And, once again, you follow the eyes. So, you follow the middle of the eye, and about the starting point of that curve of the jaw. And you find the 2 end points of the mouth. And then you come in with that. Now the lip sizes, they don't really matter as much. They can be super full if you want them to be like so. They can be thin, like so. It just depends on the like facial structure you're doing, but for the sake of it, I'm gonna just give this guy standard lips. Just your standard shape. And the way lips work, the shape itself, is they typically have this... Oh,
Hydrate.
oh, I do need a sip. Standard. Ooh. But as you can see for this lady, let's look at her shape of her lips real quick. If I were to close them. Most bottom lips will have this crescent moon, like half shape that they've all got right here. I can go pull up another lady as well, or a dude, like we can go look at their faces. And you can see that it works the almost exact same way. You can see that she's also got that, even though she's smiling, you can still see that her lips have this like, kind of like lemon slice shape to it, like this. That bottom lip. And the top lip will always have this kind of Cupid's bend right here. Now, not all of them do. Some lips will have like a full set. And I'm trying to see if I can find someone with that. Because I'm now looking at a bunch of pictures of people. She does not. She has one. And this is when you start getting into same face syndrome and also breaking out of same face syndrome. Now, I used to be a heckler of same face syndrome stuff. I'm like, ew, boo, why are you doing that? Stop. But over time, I've become less of a stickler about it. Only because, one, if you are making, like, something really quick, or it's just a personal thing you want to do, having the same eye shape, nose shape, and lip shape for characters is fine. Especially when it comes to, like, simpler art styles. You can only do so much with, like, a really simple style, like if you're just drawing with circles. However, if you're drawing in a more realistic style and you want your characters to stand out more, like especially what I do, I love my characters to stand out. Especially when I'm going to be making a webcomic, I don't want them to have the same exact facial structure. I'll focus on what the shapes are. So let me go show you what I mean. Let me grab two instances of two characters that I have. I might even grab a third. These are all Vandalt characters that I've drawn. And this is what I mean by same face and avoiding it if you want to. I'm gonna grab Ken as well. So these are my three boys. I'm gonna grab Zeke's head as well. And delete everything around him and flip him. Okay. So this is one boy. This is another boy. This is a third boy. And as you can see, each one... Oh god, why is Zeke's head so big? But as you can see, each one has a different facial structure. At least as far as I think I've done. For instance... Let me do this real quick. There we go. Make that easier. With Zeke, for instance, I gave him like these upturned almond shapes, sort of. Wink. Wink. And you can see he has that prominent Cupid's bow like this lady does. Or this lady. This lady. See, she's got that real big dip. However, this motherfucker don't. You can give characters like just straight up full ass lips. That's the amethyst lip right there. From Steven Universe. And I did the same thing with him. His lip is more round instead of that sharp like Zeke. And he's also got the slut dip, as I like to call it. See, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that. Well, he has like a slight curve, but it's not like a triangle. So that's what you can focus on whenever you don't want same face syndrome, is to start getting into these proportion differences. Right now what I'm drawing is just standard. So let's give this guy his little lips. I'm going to give him his dippies. And also give him that round under. Yeah. I'm also going to bring in his jawline. Just a bit. Not that. This. He looks stupid now. I lied. Okay, he looks a little better. I fixed it. So this is how the proportions work. I've covered how the eyes work. They're in the middle with eye space a part of the middle and eye space a part of their sides. The nose is about an eye's length. The nostrils stop at the tip of the eye. The mouth stops at the middle of the eye. And also its middle point is at about the jaw. Now, the last thing I want to focus on is the ears. And the way the ears work is that they line up perfectly with the eyes right here. And then they stop it around the nose. So about here. So that is how I do the ears, at least. Now, we can actually zoom in on the proportions themselves, so we can study why they're shaped this way, and why the face would do this. So let me do that. Let's first focus on the eyes. The eyebrows are not that hard. The eyebrows are just a fucking caterpillar of hair on the top of your head. If you're trying to go more realistic, you can follow this, like, simple line of where it's gonna go. Maybe like this. And then you can start doing this, adding these little lines to follow it. Now, the way the eyebrows work, they will be combed, they look like they'll be bushed and combed back this way. If you have a character that has, like, nuts-ass eyebrows, you can have them be nuts. You can have them sticking out, looking wild like this. But for the most part, eyebrows just naturally follow the eye like that. It just kind of does that lean this way. Because I'm drawing in a simpler style, I just do this. I just make it a shape. And normally that shape is this slight arch. And once again, it depends on the face. So, like, for hers, for instance, hers are a lot softer than how I did it, and the tip curves in a little bit. My tip curves up like that. But for her, it would look like this. It would also be rounder here, while I made his more square. So that's how you could do eyebrows. They're just little fuzzy pieces on the head. However, the brow ridge, where the eyebrows sit, is another story, and we will be doing that in just a second. So, let's try to draw his head from a 3/4 perspective. Okay, that's about the size I want. You know what? I'm gonna do this better. Let me do this. I'm gonna just come in and do this. Think. Trying to figure out how to do this. Okay, and then I'll give him the 3/4 treatment. There's the jaw, there's the chin. This is the middle line where the eye goes. and then we can follow the rest from there. Alright. So this is my dude's head from a 3/4 angle, and we're going to cover how the face structure shapes itself when we're looking at it from a different angle. Yep, come on, man. There we go. So once again, because we're at a different angle, we're going to have to consider this a little differently here. Also, I'm going to give him neck proportions just to have. There we go. So here's the middle point of the eye, and like we did over here, I'm going to give him that five segmented part of his head. Now, because the head is tilted more this way, we're not going to see this part of the head that well. We're only going to see that eye touching up against that part of his head. But we still know that it's got that shape, and then we're going to give him the little almond shape, the simple little oval. And I'll do it here. Now, because the head is shaped strangely, or not shaped strangely, it looks differently shaped whenever it's turned like this. You can see, like on my model, for instance, look at this eye over here. Whenever I turn my head, the eye kind of like seems to get smaller. Not this way, but this way. Which means this eye, right here, would look a little bit thinner. They would be the same height, like so. But if we're turning the head, the eye would start to do this. Like that. As you can see, that looks so much better. So that's what's happening over here. The eye actually kind of like gives the illusion that it's getting squished in compared to its camera-facing counterpart. Alright, and we'll give him his eyebrows. Now, because the brow ridge is shaped a certain way, this thing is going to be sticking out differently. So right here, where it looks like the eyebrows are just kind of sticking out slightly from either side of the eye, the brow ridge makes the eyebrows look like they're leaning forward from a 3/4 perspective. So here's another example of what I mean. Let's close out this lady. This is another Loomis head model. As you can tell, here's the noggin, the cut, and then that strange little jaw they do. But as you can see here, they actually cut into the model to show more realistic proportions, and you can see that that brow ridge is sticking out, and then the eyes actually sink in a little bit before the cheeks pop forward, like so. So then the eyes would be sitting here with their eyelids. So that brow ridge is up. Which means, when we're drawing our brow ridge here, we have to remember that it's sticking out like this. Technically. So, unlike here, where it just looks like it's sticking out a bit here and there, the brow ridge is going to go up like this, following the head. So, drawing his eyebrows, I'll do this. And you see how it's a little farther from the eye here than it is in this section? That's because of that brow ridge shape. I'm also going to give him his eyes again, so we can see him staring at whatever he's staring at. His eyebrows aren't that thick, so I'll just do this. And unlike here, where the eyebrow is sticking forward from the eye, here it's sticking this way. It's leaning in towards that brow ridge. Like so. And then, of course, you add the brow ridge here. It sticks out. It's got this little doinky right here. The cheek does the same thing. As you can see here, the cheek, here's the brow ridge. I'm gonna do this. Here's that brow ridge where it meets the eye. The cheek also sticks out. The cheek is a rounded shape on the face. Or if you can see on this side, it's got that curve right here.
Your cheeks are squishy and round. You have jawbone, or you have a cheekbone there.
In the skeleton, you would actually see that looking like this. You got that cheekbone. So we're gonna give him that cheekbone right here. Boop. And it's technically sticking out here too, but normally you don't want to draw that unless you're shading something. If I was to be shading this guy, for instance, let's say the light was coming this way, I would follow that cheek line and I would curve around it, just like I did with that ball. Remember when I had my sphere and I shaded it at an angle to follow the curve? Cheeks the same way. Now, how do noses work? As you can see here, the nose bridge sticks out of the face a little bit. And this is how I normally do it. And the nose bridge usually starts curving outward at about where the eye crease is. So right here is where that nose bridge started. Right here. So the nose bridge will curve in here, and then right at about that eye crease, it curves out. So because I did this cute little curve here, I'm gonna give him a sweet curve here. And because the nostrils are about here underneath my my stuff, I'm gonna put it here. So the way I like to do noses is, remember it's got that bulb, so here's that little bulb shape. And just like you see here, the nose has got like this triangular shape going on. Not quite triangle, but definitely triangle-esque. It could definitely like, maybe like a pyramid. Maybe like a pyramid with like the top cut off. That's about the nose shape. But as you can see here, whenever you round that out, the nose has more rounded proportions once you soften the initial shape. And that's what you see here. So that's what I'm going to give this guy right here. I'm going to give him a nice curved nose. And then of course the nostrils follow. The nostrils don't just disappear. And these things curve, once again, like I said, they kind of attach to the nose. They're right there. If you need to play with or touch your own nose to be like, oh yeah, that's what it feels like, that's what it's shaped like, do it. You can feel where they flare right there. Like, flare them out if you can, like... I'm doing it. You can't see it on the model, but like, you can flap your nostrils, and you can feel those curves. So, you can draw that. And then here's that bridge right there. You can see that it would look like this on here. See, like this. That's that part of the nose that's sticking out. This part. And that's about the facial structure. Now, in order to find the mouth, easy enough, follow the cheeks of the eyes, once again. And just like that circle, remember, we're following the circle's curve. Follow the cheek's curve. So I'm going to erase this part of the face to make it easier to see the cheek. And we're going to follow that curve. We're going to separate it from the cheek itself. So what I'm doing is, here's the cheek, here's the curve. And then we'll do it here too. Follow that curve. Remember, this is round. This is a big round spot on the face. These are tiny spheres in the face. So if we were to go to this guy, you can see here, this is a big part of the face right here. Like that. And because we followed the eye line down the face, and now we'll follow the jawline around the face, we'll find where the mouth is again. So here's my mouth lines. And because mouths are not flat, mouths are actually very squishy, we're going to curve this thing a certain way. Let me bring this down. So the way I do mouths is I consider them these like tiny little puffy beans almost, or like these little slices in a way. So if you're looking at the mouth from head on, you can't really, you know, see those shapes. But if we were to turn the mouth is actually shaped like this. It's sticking out and kind of pooches like this. If, once again, touch your mouth, you'll be able to feel those curves. So, when your head is at a 3/4 angle, you'll be able to follow those curves. So the mouth would technically be doing something like this on the face. And then you'd find the lip for it, right here. We'll touch your mouth during ads. Touch your mouth! Alright, I'll wait.
Thumbking ads, please. Just waiting for ads to finish.
Hey, how are you guys doing, by the way? I hope you're doing okay. Hope you guys are chilling, resting. I hope life is treating you well. I'm gonna give this guy a better chin. Fun fact, your chin sticks out. Like this. I wanted his chin to stick out. Cause, look at that. Chin. Sticky outy. Oh. I'm brain rotting on Balatro. I mean, I'm playing Balatro a normal amount. Stares at... Oh, I didn't give him his hairline. Let me do that while I'm waiting. And just like, how it's here. You follow that line at about this part of the eyebrow. You bring it down. Then you bring it down. Done. I did it. I added his hairline. No one's missing anything with the hairline, I promise. I'm gonna save this. I haven't saved in like an hour. I haven't saved in a while. I'm also gonna get sippy. Water. The music's very pretty. Oh, let me grab a Smartie. I want a snack. Or maybe Gumball. Should I chew a Gumball? Nah, I'll grab a Smartie. Smarties! Yeah, I ordered Smarties, by the way. So I'm eating my chalky candy. Leave me alone. There we go.
I opened it.
With one hand, I'm so clever. How? Candy. I just realized I just put candy in my mouth and I need to talk. Okay, I chewed all the candy. Alright, are we back? We are back. Thank you, medic. Alright, back on the lips. Feel them bitches. They're squishy. And like I said, the way they work is... if you were to look at it from an angle, like so, they'd be sticking out like this. This would be like the line following them. So as such, it would pooch out like so. Boop. It would stick out. It would puff out. And if you want a widow's peak, just follow that. So this is what it would do if it was curved. As you can see, unlike here, where it looks equal no matter where you look, here you've got like a bit of squish going on over here, just like with the eye. The lips got squished in. So treat them like two squishy little beans. That's what I'm going to do for this guy. I'm going to curve up here, give him his widow's peak, and bring it back down. And as you can see, it's shaped a little differently than it is here. And if we were to look at this from a side profile, the lips would look like this. I guess there was a knock at the door. But, yeah, you see how they, like, pooch out? And they stick out? That is how the lip do. You can see it here as well. You can see it sticking out like so. And the way I normally work about these shapes, especially when we're doing different angles, is I let them follow the curve of the body. So like if I were to have my head looking down a little bit, or maybe their head is tilted like so, and they're looking down, the lips would kind of follow that, and they would curve around the head a little bit because they follow your face. Like I said, touch them. They're squishy. I'm also going to give this guy his neck and his ears. So once again, the ears follow the eye line like this. And the ears have this fun little like wing shape kind of, at least that's how I do it. I start off kind of like I'm making a heart, like a half of a heart, sort of. But instead of like tapering it into a triangle, I curve it around like this. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to give him like that slight heart shape. And then I stop at about the nose, which is about here. There you go, there's your ear, dude. And now that we're looking at the ear closer, we can actually go over why the ear looks like that. So let's work with his neck. Here's that little triangle that I told everyone about. That little funnel that's like attached to the neck right here. And then I'll give him his muscles. And because he is a bio male, I'm going to give him that. There we go. And then this is the start of that triangle muscle that we did up above. Okay, do I want to do a side profile as well? Side profiles are also useful. What?
Oh, okay, blah, 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 safe.
And thank you for the pen. And the water. Let me get a little sippy. I think I'll do a side profile. Make it easier. I'm gonna steal this. Okay, so it stops at about here. Eyes here. Jaw here. Oh! I accidentally knocked my candy around. I forgot it was there. Alright, oh, nope. Alright, so here is the side profile of the head. Woo! In a way, I'm also kind of teaching you how to do side profiles. I'm not meaning to, but like the different proportions for the same head. I'm not meaning to, but it's there. So this is our front. This is our 3/4, our Mona Lisa, as it were, and this is our side profile. Alrighty. And all of them started off with the same circle and roughly the same proportions. So they should be pretty much the same. So the way I do side profiles is a bit different than what I do for these guys. So here's the Loomis, like little head cut. Here's about the jawline. I usually do it about a third, like 2/3 down the circle, like so. And then here's that jaw. Bring it down. Remember, it's that piece of paper that got cut. But then I also pull the head back a bit more, like so, and I wrap it around. Because the jawline, the way I do the jawline, is I put it about halfway up the head. So let me go find a side profile real quick and show you what I mean a little bit here. This is a pretty good side profile. And she doesn't really have hair, so that will help see it a lot better. So when I'd be drawing a side profile, I would draw the head, draw the basic shape, get my Loomis shape in there, add the jaw and stuff, and you see here about the 2/3 point of the circle, you add in that shit. And then I like to extend it just a bit more to meet right here for that neck. That way I have about half of a head here, half of a head here, and the jawline in the middle. Her head is shaped a bit differently than how I would do it, because once again, everyone's proportions are unique. Her proportions are unique to her, and the way I would draw the head is unique to just how I draw. But as you can see, I'd add this extra bulge here, just to help. So that's what this is. It's that extra shape here. Like an extra half circle that you just put on their head. And then the neck, the way the neck works when you're looking at the side profile, once again, it's kind of like that little funnel that's sitting on the head. Or at least sitting underneath the head. So here's the jawline right here for her. And you can see it's kind of like holding on to the head. It's like it was pushed into the face almost. Or rather, let's see. Rather, it extends like this, and then there's a piece of skin that like attaches it. And that skin can do anything. It can, if you're an older person, for instance, or you're chubbier, that skin can actually be bigger and hang. If your neck is more slender, it'll come in more taut. But this is the muscle, this is the skin. So that's what we're going to draw on this guy. I'm going to give him his neck muscles. I'm going to give him his Adam's apple. That's what it's called. And then I'm going to work on that triangle that I've been showing you guys. And then right here, I'm going to work on this part of the neck. I want his neck thicker, so I'm going to bring it out. And then I curve it out. That's where that triangle muscle is, just like right here. Y'all know what it is. Y'all have seen it above. So the way I do side profiles is you follow that bridge again. Well, first of all, you find the eye. And I haven't covered how the eye looks from a profile level yet, and we can do that now. Remember when I mentioned the eye is just a sphere with skin flapped on either side? It looks like that from a side profile too. So when we're looking at the eye from a side profile, like this, Fun fact, the iris and the pupil actually sink into the face, like a camera lens. So if you were to look at an eyeball front facing, you can't really tell like that. But if it was to turn, like so, it would actually have this slight indentation going on. That happens here too. Because it's facing this way, you get to see just how like indented it is in the head. So when you're drawing side profiles, please remember that. The eyeball will never look like this. That is stupid. That is not how irises work. That is not how pupils work. You bring in your pupil when you're looking somewhere. And it's got that, it's like a little crater. So, that's what we're gonna do for this lady. Here's her eyeball, as you can see. And you can look in here, you can see that indentation. Let me find a portrait that has someone's eye that's closer, and I can show you what I'm talking about. Or I guess it doesn't matter, but... still. I can't find one, but that's okay. Here, I'll just make it bigger for you guys. So, here's the eye, here's the iris, here's the eyeball, remember. It's sunken in. The eyeball is round, not squishy like what I just drew. There we go. And because the eye in the front, if you were looking at it like this, you can see that skin up here and the skin down here. You've got your top and bottom lids. You see that from the profile too, but from a different angle. So it would start at about here probably, and you can see that skin curve over the eyes like this. And then you'll have your cheekbone coming down, your eyebrow ridge coming up right here. And as you can see on her, that's exactly what it looks like. Here's that strange little shape she's got going on. And then of course your eyelashes. But we'll cover that in a later thing. We don't have to worry about the eyelashes. We're worrying about basic shapes right now. So you can see, there it is. There's that eye. There's that eyelid that's covering it. There's a little bit of this eyelid. Her eyelids are pretty small. And then you can see that cheek curve, because remember, this is kind of like a sphere. It's a little bone right there that's round. And then this curves because that brow ridge is sticking up. And then of course we have our nose that does that stick out as well. And then like I said earlier with the lips, there are these poochy little like slices, and they stick out next. And then of course your chin also sticks out. So we're going to focus on the eyes with that. So going in. Now the eye position on this guy just depends on how sunken in the face is. But I'm just going to have it be about here. I'll just give him a little space here from the nose. And I'm going to open the eye with that little triangle shape that she's got going on. And then I'll add his eyelid, because it's right there. And then I'll add his iris. There we go. I'm gonna bring her down here and flip her, make it easier. Okay, and now we follow the brow ridge. So right here, it seems to be at about here. And then I give him his eyebrows. Now, the brow ridge and the eyebrows do not meet because there is that middle parting right there. So here's your ridge, but then here's your actual brow. It's not like connected right here or anything. It does have that space still. So I give him the little brow ridge. Like so. And remember, the nose bridge and the brow ridge come down to about the eye crease. So about here. That's where it'll stop. And your eyebrow will be very short. Not compared to the lengths of it here and here. It'll be pretty short. As you can see here, it's curving really hard, and that's because we're looking at the face from that angle. Okay. Oh, and let's give him his hairline. It's about the halfway point. It follows that eyebrow just a bit, and it comes down. And then, of course, we'll do his ear right here. We'll start it. So the way I do noses and mouths, I follow the face a certain way. After I get to a certain point of sticking out, I kind of curve it down like this, and I follow that. I give it like this fun little triangle going on. So I gave him this. Let's curve his nose. Let me find where it is. It is at about here. And then I'll curve it in. So remember that the nose always has that little bulge right there. I'm following her proportions. I need to look at his. But it's got that little bulge. I've been giving this guy a really round nose. And then the nostrils. Now, the nostrils on the side profile, as you can see, doesn't stick out the same way as they would in other positions. Here's her nose. And then her nostril seems to follow the nose line, like right here. Now, I'm guilty of not doing this. I will draw my noses like this, even when they're side profiling. They should be a little higher and closer to the nose like this when it's side profiling. So that's what I'm going to do here. And then I'm going to give his nostril. And then there's the bridge. So I'm going to follow this for his lips. So as you can see for her, if I follow this line from the nose tip to the tip of the chin, you can kind of see that the lip follows that curve. They kind of touch that line. So I like to do that to make sure I keep the lips firmly stuck out. They don't have to touch the line completely. And of course, you want to follow that cheek and find where the mouth stops. Remember, it's round. It circles like this. As you can see here, her cheek curves. You can see it on the lighting, actually. You can see here, right here is the lighting. And that is that curve. So, follow that curve. That's where the lip is. It's got that pooch. And then, usually we have a slight underbite, where the lip tucks underneath the upper lip sometimes. You can see it here. This one's sticking out a little bit more than this one. And that's normally how I draw my characters, too. So, I have this curve out and then this curve in. And the way I do my lips as well is I have the top have this like little triangle shape inside of it, and then the bottom one is a lot more round. So you want this curved tip for the upper lip to be like kind of pointy. At least I like to do that. Not all characters or faces will have that, but that's what I typically like to do. I'm trying to find a person's face that has that point. Like this lady. You can see that it does this really interesting little boop point, and then it rounds out right here. And then there's the dot of the face, there's the line of the cheek. You can see the proportions that I'm following. Also, I just realized this man's jaw and cheek got fucking proportion fucked. There we go. And as you can see here, the chin is a big old ball on the front of the face. Like so. It does this good old round thing right here. And it sticks out. So that's what we'll do here. Now, not all chins stick out. Like I said, it just depends on how you want to draw the face. This is just your standard ass dude. Standard ass proportions. I can close this out, actually. There we go. And you can see it on her too. She also has that curvy little ball right there. So we're gonna curve this guy's chin. and then follow the jawline. There we go. And now we give him his ears. Once again, it's that shape of that little heart, like half a heart, kind of. But it's got like a rounder base to it. So, you know, if you've ever drawn a heart, you now know how to draw 2 ears. And as you can see here, you follow the jawline with the lip line right there. And that is how I draw my side profile. So let's back up and look at this guy. He looks pretty good. I'm also going to squish this in just a bit. Make it look a little nicer. And this is our guy. These are the standard proportions for if you want to draw a proportional, realistic, quote-unquote, face. Oof. Ooh, any questions? I'm going to grab candy while I wait. No. Hi, Kevin. Candy. Let's line this up a little better. There we go. Also, I'm looking at all my really old art and I'm like, ew. But it's fine. But yeah, if we got no questions, I will continue. We'll spend the final hour working on the proportions of the face in a more zoomed in view. Like why the eyes are shaped like that. Work on the fish. What does that mean? What fish? What am I doing? He just nodded at me. What do you mean? What fish? It's a fish. You know the one. I don't! Now I'm scared. Am I missing something? I think I'm missing something. Everyone knows the fish, dickhead. I don't. I don't know the fish. Well, damn. I don't know the fish. Guys, I think I'm not in the know. Alright, so. No one has questions, or they're not here to listen. The ones who do have questions are not paying attention at the moment. But that is okay. We will continue. You need your candy money on Pocket TCG? No, it's my candy money. I'm eating candy right now. No question. Understood. Okay. Maybe no questions means I'm covering shit good. I'm just chilling and listening. Excellent. Okay, let me bring this in a little better. Alrighty, so now that we've focused on the facial structure, I'm going to zoom in a little bit on a few pieces that you will probably want to know why it looks like that. So I've already covered the eye. How the eye from a front view is just a little ball with a little black hole in it and this fun little iris. And it's got the skin draping over it like so. And on the side profile, as you can remember, it's a circle. You can actually see that the pupil indents into the iris. Like so. And then the skin still follows. Also, fun fact, this is where we get tear ducts. That's where the eye is, like, not located. If you look at the middle of your eye, like at the far corner of your eye, those are your tear ducts. That's where the eyeball stops. Which is real cool, but also kind of freaky. So that is why that is. That is the tear duct here. And remember, the eye skin is not just flat, it's got like this curve to it. Like this. It's a 3D piece of skin. So you can actually go in. You won't be able to see it at the top here, but on the bottom you'll actually be able to see that like little layer. And you can see that in my art. So for instance, when I draw my eyes, they're obviously a lot more stylized, but you can tell once I show you this here. Yo, what if I VTuber drop out? What does that mean? How about no, fucker? Not allowed. This is how I do my eyes, though. I follow that tear duct right there, and then I add this little wrinkle because I just really like it. And then I have a really thick upper eye, and then I give them really thick eyelashes. We'll also be covering the eyelashes here in a minute. But then I follow this again, and I keep that space. But then you guys see me draw this. That is the underside of that piece of the eye. Do math under a bridge. No, not allowed. You can pay attention. Pay attention, young man. This is very important class. You better be paying attention. I will cry. But then I add my little eyebrows here. And my little eye crease right here. And let me have my iris staring up like this. I'm gonna copy off Medic. No! But as you can see, this is how I do my eye. And this is also where the stylization comes in as well. How do I... Here we go. So as you can see, this is something more realistic. And then this is stylized. I turned my work in already. You can't copy. Yeah, you can't copy. Turned in work already.
Hello there.
Hello there! Welcome in, Killer Snake Lord. I hope you're doing okay. Welcome to the Bat Cafe. Please take a seat, enjoy your stay, and enjoy some tea while you're at it. And enjoy the chaos that is me drawing and teaching people how to get started with drawing. You're copying off Medic? I was copying off you! How when the work is still happening? Oh shit, the turntable. Is everyone just copying off of each other? Also, thank you for the sip, Killer Snake. I have been talking a lot. The eyes seem to my soul. As they should. They know your sins. And thank you for the stretch. Let me get a little crack of my fingies. Oh god, my back. I'm an old man. My back broke. Hi, Taki. Where are we Uno reversing? Is just cause hey, handsome, that's why. Hey, is everyone just copying off each other? Is there just a fucking daisy chain of you guys? Just is Medic the only one actually doing work, and everyone's just copying off Medic? Is that what's happening? I learned it by watching you. No, Medic! You're the Rock, apparently. Alrighty. So that is how the eyes work. Now, the eyelashes. Salem's doing it too. That's true. Salem's doing his work. I can see him over there. He's doing it. Salem, are you doing your work? Because everyone's copying off Medic. Just copy that man. Copy his work. Do it. I actually have to take off my coat. It's hot. I worked myself up into a frenzy. Nice butt. Thanks. I'm stuck. Help. Yeah, I'm writing notes. See? Salem's doing his work. Why do all you gotta copy off Medic? Don't copy off Salem. Salem, cover your... I'm about to put those white visor things on all your desks. At all your tables. And now you can't cheat. Okay, hold on. I'm stuck in my coat. Give me a second. It got hot. It was 40 degrees, and now it is not. Ah, there we go. Not those! Yeah. It's not cheating, it's collaborating. Himiko, you're tall enough to peek over them. Alrighty, let's cover eyelashes. So the way I know eyelashes to be shaped is they follow the eyes, but in like the opposite curve. So because the skin of the eye is curved like this, the eyelashes curve the other way. Reference. I can go find more eyelashes. I reference medics. Just exactly. Stare at. Y'all are being bad. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this lady. She has eyelash extensions, but that makes this shit easier to see. So as you can see, for the eye, we can see the tear duct here, just like I drew here. Real. Slightly different. Bigger bulge mostly. God damn it. Trying to find another good reference for like a more curved head, but I cannot. Oh, wait, this works. God, it's a big... Y'all have eye phobia, I'm sorry. Gotta work with real reference. Yeah! For Meteor Ween. Please. Okay. So, the way I like to do eyelashes is I think of them sort of like this. Now, she has extensions, so those aren't completely accurate. But this is how I typically do it. I usually start off with a thin... Think of it kind of like a fan. Like a curved fan. With little hairs inside instead of just individual pieces. For instance, this is what I mean here. This is where the eyelash starts, right on the lid. And then it does this big fan shape. And it curves like this. So it curves around the eye, obviously. And we will see that here as well. So I'm going to give this the fan, quote unquote, and then I'm going to start adding in the eyelashes, like so. Now, some of them will start sticking out this way and then go up like that. But this is a pretty good indicator of where the eyelashes usually go. And it works the same way down here. It's got the little ones here, the longer ones here, and then it just goes. And because of the curve of the eye, these eyelashes are going to curve this way, and the farther you go this way, they're going to curve that way. So, when we're looking at it from a side profile, it'll look a bit like this. Like here. You can see that her eyelashes are curving real difficult. And they curve up like a fan. And then they curve down like this. I squished Cecil.
Aww. Scream, show me.
Leon laid on Cecil and he went... Not Leon, Cecil did. But it was still cute. But yeah, we're gonna follow the curve. So here's the eyelashes. Following that curve, following that curve. And that's usually how they work. Now, the next thing I would like to zoom in on is the fucking ear, because the eyelashes, how they shape around the eyes, and the ear seems to be like the most egregious parts of like anatomy. People don't know how to draw ears sometimes, and that's okay. I didn't know how to draw ears for like, I don't know, you guys saw the piece. Y'all saw the art. I can show you again. Them ears looked fucking awful. Let me go back. Let me go back to 2014. Let me go to 2014 and point it out. Let me call out my abysmal art. Here you go. This was an old art. This is an old art piece. What the fuck is that? That is not an ear! Dog? What did you draw? What is this? Why did you draw this? This looks fucking awful. So, yeah. I didn't know how to draw ears for a bit, but I quickly learned. Ears are not that hard to deal with. Free kisses. Free kisses? I'll be right back. I want free kisses. Well, I got free kisses. Shit was great. Anyone else? Hey, hey, whoa, whoa, put them lips away. He's over there doing little kissy noises. He's so fucking cute. Free kisses here. Alrighty. Anyway, back to the thing. So the way I do my ear, Medic, you put your hand down. You sit down. Stop it. So people tend to overly, like, not understand ears that well. And I don't blame them. There's a lot of tiny little parts working in tandem with the ear. But I have learned a fun little way to draw ears, no matter what. And it works with the angles as well. So we're going to have the ear do these different curves to show you how it works. I learned this from someone called Concept Cookie, I think. This was real good, too. This was a very good, like, way to do ears. So, do we get extra credit if we do? No? May they know my weakness. Oh, true. Alright, so, just like how I said, I draw my ear like some sort of half of a heart with, like, a round tip. This is how the ear is going to be shaped. I'll actually tilt it a little bit just to make it look nice. So this would be the hairline, this would be the jawline. And the way I do my ears is as follows. Let's make this bigger. I do something called the hook Y method, or the hook Y bump method. And that is basically your ear is made up of 3 little parts. And once you understand these parts, it's real fucking easy to, like, draw them in any angle. So the way like I said, I describe the parts as the hook, Y, and I say colon sometimes, but it's also just a bump. So the hook, quote unquote, is right here in the ear. It follows almost the entirety of the ear. This is where it's situated. And then we have the Y, or I guess I could find the bump next. So here's the hook. You can see the shape. And then we have our little bump, or like I say, I call it the colon, because that's what I do. I add a little bump here and a colon bump here. They just kind of sit there. Like this. And they hang out. They stick out like this, like 2 little bumps, and they hang out together. And then we have the Y, which is inside of the hook. And it does this fun little curve and meets with the second bump. So here's the Y, and it curves with the rest of the ear. So now that I have the shape, I can show you how I personally find the ear shape itself. So remember, hook, Y, and the little bumps. So this is how I draw my ears when I'm just remembering the shapes. I follow my little half heart shape that I do. Fun fact, I don't know if you guys like to do this or not, but you can draw the earlobes attached like this to the jawline, or you can draw them curving up, detached. That little flap of skin can make all the difference. That's also hereditary. You don't have to worry about it too much, but I just kind of draw my characters anyway. Anyway, I wish. So, when drawing the hook, I follow this line. Like that. And then I find the bump right here, and then the second bump here. Well, I don't really find the bump. I find the Y next. And then I follow the second bump. And then here, I do this fun little curve right here. And then I follow this line last. So that is how I normally draw my ears. As you can see. The difference is extraordinary. So let me actually color coordinate this to make it a little easier to see, just in case. So here's the hook. Got that red color. I'll make my bumps green, and then I'll make my Y blue. So that is the shape of the ear, and as you can see here, those lines are still in there. And if you think about it in a 3D plane, the ear does the exact same thing. Except the Y is a 3D thing. It sticks out. So if I were to look at the head from straight on, like over here, I didn't draw it because I didn't want to focus on that at the time. I was focusing on facial proportions. We're going to focus on it here now. Here's the jaw. Here's the ear. It doesn't stick out nearly as much because the ear can be pretty flat on the head. So I'm going to make it a lot flatter looking than what I did here. You see how this is a lot wider, this is a lot thinner. But we can still consider the hook Y and bumps, except it's a lot more 3D. The hook curves under the Y, and the Y flares out. So here's the hook. It's doing like this. It's got like a 3D curve going on. And then here's the little hook right here. The bump sticks out a lot more, as you can see here. The second bump is kind of hidden behind this one. You won't be able to see it. And then the Y sticks out very far. So here's that line here. Here's that line here. And then this part of it, this little butt right here, it sticks out. It actually sticks out of the ear like that. So that's how I do it. I have the Y actually like jetting out. And then it folds back in on that second bump. I believe I have a few art pieces that I could actually show off to show how I do that. Let me go look around. Vine? No. I'm trying to find someone who's staring straight on. Also, these ear shapes work for pointed ears as well. So I'm gonna grab a pointed ear guy for reference as well. Do I not have anyone facing front? I don't think I've drawn that in a while. Huh. At least not with round ears. I've seen a couple of front-facing people, but they're like... They have curly ears? They have elfish ears. Elf pointy ears. No, I don't think I do. Oh, fuck. I haven't drawn that in a hot minute, I guess. But then I don't like drawing characters facing front at all times. It looks a little boring to me. Okay, but I can at least show you with elfish ears. So, this is another instance of the ear turned a lot more towards the camera. Like how you see it here. Let me flip her. You can see that little hook here. Here, I can color it. You can see the hook right there. Curving. Curving. You can see the Y here. Curving in. And you can see the two bumps right there. So, the ear will always consistently have these pieces. You can make the ears, see how I made her looks more like a diamond, while this one's more round. You can make the ear look like it's just straight up a half an oval. You can give them different shapes to give them a more unique look, but it's not necessary. Here is a good example of a facing on picture, but it is elfish. It's pointy, but you can see that I have that Y sticking out. See right there? That's the Y coming out of the head. Here's the two bumps. And then here's the hook. It's pointed upwards, but it's still the hook. And as you can see, the hook actually curves underneath here because the Y sticks out. So that is a good sample of how the ear works. I hope that helps explain it, because fuck me, the ear is really difficult if you don't understand the little pieces that go into it. When it comes to more animalistic features, because I know you motherfuckers want to draw your Kemono mimis. Me too, though. That is something completely different, and I would have to, cover that separately. But for now, I think what I've covered just about does it. We've gone over introductions, aka don't expect it to look good right away. That is okay. AKA, don't expect it to look how you want it to at first. Like I said, I've gone through 5 different art styles over the years, over a decade of me drawing. And that's okay, it happens. It's us learning. My nose. And I did show you guys that picture where it was my art in 2007 and then my art in 2010, and then it goes down to 14 and then 15, and it just shows you all of the different years and all the evolutions I've gone through. So don't ever feel like you have to hold on to an art style or that you're stuck with one. You can always just rip it out and change it. Figure out what your art goal is, aka get your motivation, know why you're drawing, otherwise you're gonna be like, what's the fucking point? Why am I doing this? Am I just drawing just to say I can? Sometimes that's not really the good approach to it. Like I said, my goal is webcomics. I wanna draw monsters kissing men. Draw light and draw with your arm. When you're sketching, please don't push into your shit. And draw with your elbow. You don't want to throw out your wrist. That shit sucks. And don't be afraid to use references. As you can see here, we have done plenty of that. Especially to show off how faces work. And like you saw me drawing over the eyes and over the faces, there is nothing wrong with tracing over a piece to understand the shape and the feel of it. And then go draw it on something else. It's perfectly fine to do that. And then we went over the basics, the shapes, and the fact that we're not trying to make something 3D, we're trying to emulate 3D in a way, which is why we have all these curves and these lines. Remember, this is a skill. Practice is everything. That is very true. This is a skill. Drawing is not a talent. Drawing is a skill, and you have to hone it. And then I did my body proportions. And like I said, if the way I draw the proportions or the, models don't work for you, just find another way. Figure out what works for you. This was just my way. You start at level 1 and grind that shit. Yeah? Yeah, you do. And then I did the proportions for the face. If you need help in the future, This will be a VOD on my YouTube channel, so you can go there and be like, okay, where does he say this? Boom, go here. You know, all that stuff. Maybe I can timestamp it, but I don't know how to do that. But yeah, with that, I think we're gonna head on out. I've pretty much covered the basics for the head, and I've gave you the basic proportions of the body. We can go in on the body later, like masculine versus feminine bodies, proportions, hands, how to draw hands better, how to draw feet. Feet are also deceptionally hard to draw. Deceptively, that's the better word. Where tendons are, if you want to draw stuff. Where muscles are laid out on the stomach, if you want to start drawing muscular characters. All that good stuff. All those goodies. But for now, I think we're going to call it, and we're going to go raid. Because it's about that time, and I am tired. I've been talking for 4 hours.
And I need a little rest for my mouth.
But thank you guys so much. I hope I helped you guys at all.
Thank you for the sip.
I do need sippies.
Yeah, I hope I helped you guys. I hope you enjoyed the art tutorials.
Well, not really tutorials, just kind of like 4 hours of art advice. Because that's basically what it is. There we go. And let's go raid out, shall we?
Who wants to go see Skya Mama?
I don't know if any of you guys remember Skya, but she's the cute little German lady. And there you go, grab your messages. The top one is if you have my emotes, the second one is if you do not. Yeah, that's right, you do. Skya is adorable. She has had a couple of changes here and there, but her model looks really cute.
Yeah.
But I'll see you guys later. I'll see if we can stream tomorrow. Today's upload speed was fucking great. It was like at 17. I was like, yes, we're fucking doing it. Hell yeah. But let's see if it doesn't drop tomorrow. So, until then, the cafe is closing, and I will see you guys later.
Bye.
Also, Skya is German, so she's probably talking in German. But she is still a sweetie. And she does talk in English. I'm kidding, no one needs to kiss me. What? I'm kissing you right now? I'm gonna come over there. You're gonna get fucking kissed. Are you ready? Ooh, I don't think he's ready. Guys, I don't think he's ready. Yeah, you're gonna get kissed.